another story.
So, are you saying that a touch point is needed for a lady that's going through that kind of journey? Like the guy should let it be known, hey, look, I support you in losing all of this weight. When it happens, you're going to get attention. Just know that you make the wrong choice, it's a wrap. Like should
Absolutely.
a
What's wrong with that
man
conversation?
lead and say that? Okay. Hmm.
Yeah. Hell yeah. If it's noticeable, and she started, I mean, she's gonna buy a couple of new dresses, maybe she started dolling up a little bit more, instead of the bonnet, she has a nice hair, instead of Crocs, she has some. Listen, sometimes you just gotta tell them, let me just head it off. I like this journey you're on, and I'm gonna make sure it's worthwhile in our bedroom. But the attention you get, you better keep it in these doors, because if you make a mistake, you better never let me find out, because this shit's over. I would say, are you kidding
And
me?
that's why it's important. We talk about how men say things, and how tone matters, right? And I know there are a lot of men out there that are like, well, you better take it how I said it, and if I let you know, that's because it's on my mind and it's on my heart, and you need to know. But in a situation like this, and we're actually going to talk about that towards the end of the
Yeah.
show, with Corey Holcomb, but in a situation like this, you would want to be the one to talk to her in a certain way that moves her, because when she lose that weight, she's going to be vulnerable to other people talking to her in a way that moves her, right?
Yeah,
And they're
that's
going
good.
to move you right out the way because you don't know how to communicate with her about such a
That's
delicate subject. And so that is probably really the insecurity in that man, because it's like, oh, well, how did I contribute to either the weight gain or the weight loss?
right.
And now I'm insecure because she's getting attention from other places. And yes, it is for that woman to shut down whatever is going on. But at the same time,
You're right.
is one door being closed to her that shouldn't be closed?
See,
You know what I mean?
precious. That's why we have you up. That's why you have us up here. That's why we need you to say that. I know how to be sweet to her. Say, listen, honey, I admire the way you losing this weight. And I would say it differently than what I said up here. You know, but I hear what you're
Pain
saying.
be in that ear, or pain be in that ear,
Well,
but
yeah, I
seriously,
hear
it's
you. I mean,
important.
because that's the
It's
way.
important
Yeah,
because
it's
you
important.
want
It's
you want
important.
her to be motivated because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
are the
yeah,
driving force of that shit, not
yeah.
because somebody else, the work husband, like, "Oh, come on, let's go on this
Oh
walk
yeah,
during lunch.
you go, girl. Yeah, yeah,
Let's go get these salads and
yeah,
these
yeah,
grapes."
yeah.
Like, you want to be the fire
See,
underneath
that's
her,
why I've
not.
been married so long. I know how to be flexible when the wife tells me a little bit of stuff. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
like,
saying? I know how to say, yeah, you might be
you
right,
wanna be
honey.
that motivating fire underneath her, not somebody
That's a
else
good
that
point.
got the
Yeah,
eye that can see the vision, but you so frustrated, or maybe you got a little slim, little thick little joint that you talking to on the side and you neglecting your woman. Like, we all have to be accountable, for certain
good
things
point.
that go on. And so,
Good
in
point.
that type of situation, it's like we both have to study each other, but we have to have the understanding of each other's natures as well.
Exactly. I was gonna say
Gotcha.
too, as us as the leaders, you gotta let your know, just like how you let your troops know, hey, this is the territory you about to go into. We have to let our wives know, like, hey, all right, now you losing this weight. It's gonna be guys that's gonna come after you. They're gonna be trying to put this sweet talk on you. They're gonna be doing this, they're gonna doing that. And then soon as it happened, now your wife can come back and you. Guess what? Remember you had that conversation about this guy was gonna do this, and now she is building that level of trust, and she understand that you have wisdom because you telling her things. So you're basically a prophet to her. Not like
Mhm. Few steps
Yeah.
ahead.
you know what I mean.
Hey,
You putting that out there. Now she's able to. Okay, I can listen to him because he already know what's going on. I had to do
You
that
know
with
what's
my
gonna
wife
happen.
too.
Yeah.
It's not.
hey,
Yeah.
but James, maybe chew the fat with smooth is right though. No talk should be necessary. She should already know. If she doesn't, you never had her. By having that kind of touch point, you just showing that you insecure, James.
That's unrealistic, honestly.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
gonna be
Never assume that they should already know. I mean, the conversation has to be the right kind of conversation, like Real Precious said. But having a conversation doesn't make you weak. It makes you, a well-rounded person. Understand you're with another person. And sometimes some things need to be said, but they do need to be said in the right kind of way.
And a lot of times the women don't understand the game men run. Some men run, they out the game, they out in your face, and some they run behind the scenes. You know what I mean? They not giving you no attention and stuff. I used to be like this in high school. All the pretty girls, I ain't give them no attention, and I used to get them all the time because I didn't give them what they wanted. All the other guys was running after them, and the whole time I was plotting on them. You know what I'm saying? But if another
That's that
man,
light skin privilege.
That's light skin privilege.
Oh yeah, man, that's funny, man. Yeah. He's laughing because that's just true.
Man, no, man. I grew up in a time where they was getting off the light skin. They was just like, man, I'm trying to get a dark skin now. So,
oh man, where was that? Where was that time?
Oh man, shoot. I was born in 1990, man. I'm young, but
Well, there definitely is a mixed message in that. Although I don't think it's a mixed message, I think it's a mixed understanding and awareness that women have when it comes to men and what they find visually appetizing rather than what they find relationally appetizing. So I thought that was a good one to start off with. We have another video here. Before we get to the videos, I do want to highlight some of these comments. Darnell says, "Is this your last show? I am taking a break for the month of February. So this is my last show. Till then, I am going to be back in March. Okay." Quincy says, "How many folks die on those tables trying to be a plastic blow up doll?"
That's
So
a bad
true.
way to go out. That's a bad way to
It
go
really
out.
is. And even if they don't do it on the table, there's so many complications afterwards because, like, again, I said that there's maintenance to that stuff. Like, I know someone personally who got a BBL and she couldn't even sit on her behind she bent over the couch. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, why would you want to go through that? You got to go through a recovery house and you got to get holes drained, and it just doesn't seem, it's just, why would you put your body through that trauma? Women have enough trauma having babies. You can die on the table doing that. You want to risk your life getting a bigger butt? Just go to the gym. Do some lunges. It's men out here on these Instagrams that got bigger butts than women because they they are consistent and persistent. So it can happen. Just put the work in. Jeez. Trev says the problem is men give way too much attention to the BBL women, especially on social media. This type of validation gives the mixed messages. This is what happens when you reward bad behavior. And that is very true. That is so true. Women think this because you pay attention to this. And so you become part of the problem instead of fixing the mentality of the woman that you don't want in the long run anyway. Women think desire is one-dimensional. Women think desire is a one-dimensional concept. Very true. They think women seeing is believing. So if they see you liking that stuff, they're gonna think that you like that stuff. That's why I said there has to be a well-rounded awareness instead of that, again, that one-dimensional concept. So good point there, C. Heru Apocalypse. A big behind and wide hips need big legs and thighs to go with it, especially for support.
Out here built like that Hershey's chocolate ant. I can't stand to see that.
Lafive says it's one thing to look, but if you're following those IG accounts, you're low key obsessing.
Wow.
I mean, some people need to know where to go back to. I'm just like, wow, 70% of your followers are, or the people that you're following is big videos. Out with it, okay? Q says obsession with these ridiculous size asses will make your toilet seat look. Oh my goodness! Good evening, Kenneth. How are you this evening?
Good evening, everybody on the panel. A little late to the party, but I was watching while I was getting settled. I'm
just a
like,
little bit.
we're not really touching the point. Like the majority of the BBLs that people get, they don't look good. You have like the little thin girls with the big butt and the string bean legs. You have all this augmentation. It's like, where my age, nah, that don't even do it for me. I understand little subtle things like you pointed out before, with a little nip and tuck here, a woman that had children, she's not feeling good at looking in the mirror. I get it. You have females that are just like, they have friends that encourage them to go do this stuff, and when they do it, those same friends laugh at them, and it's like it's an epidemic. And then you see a lot of the people that don't have the money, like a Bernice Burgos or those other ones that have money that can get it professionally done. They're going to Dominican Republic. Let's talk about the cases of the women that died trying to get the procedure. Some of them that barely survived, like is a Jamaican artist, Spice. She almost died getting a BBL. She got like a big scar for life across her chest and stuff like that. We're not talking about the dark side of that. The majority of those women do not get the good stuff. And I'm gonna call it as I see it. I go up in the hood, you see all these girls. I'm like, they got barely enough money to pay the rent, but now they got like a new butt that they could fit a pumpkin bottom in, and they're looking crazy with these little skinny legs. And I'm like, is this a thing? Ain't nothing wrong with grits and cornbread. That's how you fatten that thing up and do some squats with it. That's my take.
Collard greens and cornbread. Yeah.
That too. Yeah, all them sweet things that make you lick your fingers. Last time I checked, that got a girl's gams looking
What?
good.
What?
You don't want them like that, Kenneth?
There you go. There you go.
I had to find it. I had to find it.
There you go.
Ooh.
They got the nerve to
Yeah,
holler too. What you doing later?
it just seems unsafe. The infections, the unknown, ingredients or whatever you want to call it, silicone, whatever it is, it's unknown, and you shouldn't be putting it in your bodies. But if you want to go ahead and when you turn 60 and it's drooping and feeling all crazy and you got to take that shit out anyway, you're going to look back and be like, why did I do this to myself? Because all natural is, when they say health is wealth, when you put something foreign in your body, how healthy do you think you're going to stay with that in your body? Because our bodies change every 7 years. So in your 20s, it might look good, it might feel good, it might be visually appealing. But when you turn 45 and you can't, or 50, you can't really walk up them steps, your knee hurting, you
You be
know, you
you
might want to
being
think a little different,
you
you
being
know?
kind. Nicki Minaj, K Michelle, short period of time before they had to go get them things taken out. Am I correct?
I don't know.
Mhm. Yep. K Michelle, I think she was getting in fact, I think didn't she have a whole show about her getting
Exactly.
her
How
behind taken
horrible.
out?
Yeah. Thought it was the best next new thing, and then you got a whole documentary on how that thing really augmented your
What's the
life.
other girl? Black China.
I was
She
just
she
about to say
also
her.
she
Yeah.
also did the same thing, taking all that stuff out.
She took she took it out and
Because they're
found the
not gonna
Lord.
they're not gonna be, so a lot of people are not gonna be honest with you about these things, right? Because it feeds the propaganda. Women spend money. You know what I mean? The women spend women are the number one consumers out there, because emotionally what you do is you use your money to cover up your emotions a lot of the time. Whether you're buying food, whether you're buying clothes, buying shoes, buying booties, buying purses, it's a part of your personality. And the media knows this. And so they play on your emotions, so you too can have a big booty dude. But they're not going to be honest with you about, you know, what's going on. And, you know, you go for your consultation and things like that. But the way you're listening to those complications is like when they, a car salesman, when they read the, you know, that fine print really fast at the end of the commercial. I feel like that's that's how they're listening to, you know, what could happen and signing those waivers. Okay, what did you get in English class? Because did you read everything? Do you fully understand and comprehend what's going on here?
And this just goes back to like the negative competition that the ladies have against one another, because just like the video said, the men are telling you, hey, natural, 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 but then they'll say, nope, y'all lying, it's not what y'all want. You know what I mean? When the men are actually telling y'all, we actually went to the trees too. Is be putting out a video coming up soon, and we asked a similar question to that. So, and we had some similar responses, you know, so it's that's what the guy's saying that they want, because it's a reason why. It's a logical reason why we want natural. We want you to be healthy, number one, and we don't want you to be getting all that attention from other guys, because it's going to be looking stupid. So guys going to be looking. So now I got to fight this dummy off because he disrespected you or try to touch it or saying something to you. You know what I mean? You're a walking time bomb.
And it's not a health hazard now. Now it's a relationship hazard. Good evening, Hank. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
How y'all doing today?
What's up,
Pretty
big guy?
good. Pretty good. Was there anything you'd like to add to this clip? If not, we'll move on to the next one.
No, I think I sound like y'all covered everything we need to cover. I see my man Freak Nasty, all pain was getting into it, so I'm gonna let him have it, bro. I'm gonna let that brother have it.
All right, we'll get on to the next clip. This one, you guys listen closely. She wants to know if she's insecure, but I want to hear what you guys have to say being on the other end, because she's a woman talking about a man that she's dating and something that he did that didn't sit well with her. So I want to hear you guys in the chat, of course, definitely participate. What you guys think about how she feels about what this man did?
What do you guys think? Serious question. What would you do if the guy that you were seeing made a female friend dinner at his place, like an elaborate dinner? I'm dying. Okay, so this is what he made his female friend. This is a cheese board. I have no idea what this is, but he made that. Some pasta. The pasta looks amazing. This looks absolutely amazing, not gonna lie. And he even plated it. He plated it. He was like, oh, I made something, and sent me all these pictures, and I was just wowed. I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks beautiful. Oh, but then naturally I'm like, oh, like, were you on a date? And that's completely fine. Like, you're not my man, you know, we're not together, we're just talking. So if he was, which clearly, like, this is a date, but that's completely fine. You know, we're not together. This guy was like, oh no, I just cook like this for, you know, my friends all the time, you know, whether it's men or women. I made it for my friend, and he named off some woman's name. I don't want to be talking to someone or dating someone who feels like they need to spend one-on-one time with someone in a very intimate way. This is like extremely intimate. It's almost performing for someone. So yeah, I just wouldn't want my potential someone or my boyfriend or my husband doing something like all of this for another woman. Went on talking about like, oh, that we're not together, but like, I would want my person to trust me and this and that. But it doesn't come down to trust. It goes down to him not knowing boundaries, because it's if you're doing stuff like this, what else are you doing for your female friends? To me, that's just red flags all over the place, and it just shows that there's a lack of boundaries. So I just ended up messaging him back, just letting him know that that's not something that I'm personally okay with, and there's plenty of women out there who would be okay with it, but I'm just not one of them. Here's the thing, everyone is different. There's gonna be women out there who are like, that's completely fine. I feel secure in myself. I feel confident about my man, and I trust him in this and that. That's completely fine. And again, it's not about trust for me. It's just boundaries. I want there to be very, very clear boundaries if I'm talking to someone, and I want them to know like what's appropriate and what isn't appropriate. What do you guys think? Serious isn't appropriate.
No.
Boundaries or insecurities?
that's insecurities because she's looking at it from the perspective of how he could act if they were together. But did she state those boundaries like as they were getting to know each other, establish them while you're showing interest? Say, hey, so I know that you typically do this, right? You don't have a lady in your life right now. But if we're together, I'm not comfortable with you doing that for other people, right? And then gauge his response. If he then says, hey, you know what? I'm going to do me regardless, then y'all aren't compatible. Keep it moving. But as it stands with where they're at now, that's insecurity.
Okay. James?
Honestly, I think it's insecurity too as well, because so number one, they're not in a relationship. So how are you setting boundaries as a friend? You know, and on top of that, he took the time to send you a picture of what he was doing for somebody else. So he was trying to impress you, but you took it negatively because he's basically saying, hey, when I'm with you, these are the things I'm going to cook
I'm
for
gonna
you.
be doing.
Yeah, but this chick that I'm doing it for right now, she's
She's
practice.
a friend.
Yeah, she's just a friend. We not serious. She probably got a boyfriend. She doing her own thing over there. I'm doing this. I'm whipping this up. He might be going to school to want to be a chef or something like that. Because how the food was set up, it looked like it was like chef style. You know what I mean? So the brother had whoever the brother was. Shit, like I would ate that food too. I was like, shit, but now she lost because a lot of ladies say they want their man to cook, they want their man to clean and all this type of stuff. He's showing he can do that stuff, especially on the cooking side. But now it's he did it for another woman. Now I don't want it. Stupid.
Yeah. Dorian. All right. So we got Dorian in the chat. She says boundaries. Boundaries. So she believes it's boundaries and not insecurities. I'm I'll wait till everybody goes, but I'm not gonna waver off of what I think. Hank, we'll go with you next. Oh, actual King Smith, were you about to say something? Oh, okay.
No, I mean she said it like several times during that video. We're not in a relationship like that,
Mm-hmm.
so we're friends.
Mm-hmm.
So why can't I share these moments with you as a friend?
Right.
We're not serious. We're not in a real relationship. We're friends. So what's wrong with him doing what he did? Yeah, she got some insecurity issues. I don't understand that at all. But she's doing him a favor. So, lightweight, he don't know it. But yeah, she's doing him a favor because the way she's acting. So, if y'all gonna start getting serious, then that conversation needs to be had. But until then, it shouldn't even be a problem. He didn't have to share that with you, but he chose to do that. And so, like you said, was he flexing? Yeah, he was lightweight flexing, letting her know, look at this type of dude I am. This is how I get down in the kitchen,
I would have been like, bring me a plate.
So when we get serious and I'm ready to have a real intimate date with you, this is the type of things I would be willing to do for you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she's mad because it wasn't her, and that's all it is. She's mad because it wasn't her, and her insecurity is all over her face, and she, it's showing. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hey Trey, how are you? Kenneth?
This is a classic case of a man leading with honesty and a woman leading with insecurity. Women ask for men to be honest. Every step that he took there was to show her a little bit of what she could be getting. She chose to look at it negatively. She chose to say that's a red flag. A man cooking for a female friend. At that point in time when he's in the court stage, nowadays you think people are just like entertaining one. Let's say it may be someone that likes him. He's going to take the time to show you what he's doing with the next woman just to flaunt it, or he feels that we possibly got something good here and he's possibly testing you to see how you react to it. So you just made the job quite easy for him Red flag. You blocked your blessing, maybe. Ain't got time for that. You made it easy for him. While Shorty's there enjoying more meals, you be out there being insecure about more things.
Enjoy more meals. You be more insecure about more things. Okay. Who didn't go on this? R-Pain?
Yeah.
And then Trey?
Listen, I agree with her 100%. I agree with her 100%. I do agree that he was testing her boundaries. He was testing to see how much she would let him get away with. Right. So I agree with 100%. He's courting her. They ain't really have a real relationship. I would never, first of all, cooking a woman a meal like that is a prelude to busting those cheeks. Period. I don't care who you're talking to. She's over your crib. You feeding her like that. You're gonna, she wants to, you got the slippers ready and the bathrobe for her after the meal's done and shit, and you're gonna be hitting it. So here's the reverse would never be true. If I'm courting a honey and she shows me a picture of her chilling with a guy watching, Mrs. Doubtfire on Netflix and shit, and he's on the couch with her, what I'm gonna sit down here and think that, after Netflix ain't over, they ain't smoking a joint and shit, and he might not be busting those chicks. Listen, stop it, guys. He was testing her boundaries, and she said, listen, you're going to want me to be able to accept this kind of stuff, and I can't accept it. So let's not waste this time. So I agree with her 100%. They don't have to be in a full-fledged relationship. Why start a relationship you know ain't going to work? Because he's not going to want to stop cooking for other women, and he's going to want her to take it, and she don't want to do that. Why would you send no pictures to her other than if you're testing what you can get away with in the future? Stop. I agree with 100%. Sis, I can dig it. I would have just never sent you those goddamn pictures. I'll land it there.
If that was the case, that means he shouldn't have sent her none. He could have had both. If that's the case, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he felt comfortable enough to send it because it wasn't on that. He said
he felt comfortable to send it to her, James, to see what she would accept, so he could keep busting the other chicks down and her accepting it.
She said they're not in a relationship. She said they're not in a relationship.
Yeah, but he was courting her, man.
No, he wasn't courting her.
Clearly that clearly they were setting it up for them to have some kind of relationship.
How are you courting her?
Talking about it?
How are you courting her? You're not in a relationship. She said this. These are her words.
Said that, but the only reason why it matters is because they started talking because she was hoping they were involved into some kind of relationship.
Yes. You put more into it than it really is. Go by her words.
Listen, we could disagree.
We're not in a relationship. She said it 3 times in that video.
It doesn't matter how many times she said it. It doesn't matter. You act like women don't talk double speak and shit, man.
I don't care.
The reason why she reacted that way is because she was thinking about was he relationship material or not. All right.
Hey,
listen, we can go back and forth with it. I agree with that.
I know you do. You
OG
smoke like with daughters. I got you.
Okay.
Most of the time, women are delusional and thinking they're in a relationship when they're not because the man hasn't established yet. But she said herself, we're not in a relationship. She said at least 3 times. So that lets you know it's not a relationship. We're just talking. We're just having conversation. We're no different than the person he cooked for. Friends.
Okay.
That's it. That is it. Now, she's in the feelings because she wished that was her and her getting that meal instead of that other heifer.
Now you read some stuff into it. Now you read stuff into it. Okay.
No, I'm not, man. That's
I'm talking because
Trey.
I got you.
Trey, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with R-Pain here. I think she has boundaries. I don't think this is an insecurity.
Wait, hold on. Where the Trey from last Monday? Hold on. Wait, let me find him. Let me find him real quick.
I have never cooked for anyone outside of my family that I was not trying to smash. I cook for you. That's because we were going from the dining room to the bedroom. That was the point. So him cooking for her is a dead giveaway that they have some sort of sexual relationship and or he's attempting to have one with her. And if that doesn't work for her, fine. I don't think that whether or not they're in a relationship really matters. I've had women say to me that they didn't want to get into a relationship with me before we got into a relationship because of my dealings with other women. That's fine. They have every right to do that. I'm a little bit confused. If that's a no-go for her, that's just a no-go for her. And you don't get any extra credit for being honest. Like, okay, good for you. You were honest about it. Woo! Way to go. Way to go for being honest. Great. You told her. Good job. That's what you're supposed to do. Moving on. So I'm in agreement. I don't think she's being insecure. I think she set a boundary, although it's a weird one because they aren't together, but it is a boundary nonetheless. So it is what it is.
But how do you
He's
set
fully
boundaries?
insecure.
If you don't tell a man the boundary, how can you set something you never told him?
I was just about to say that.
Well, she did tell him, and then she stepped
After
off.
the fact.
After the
But she
fact.
told him. She stepped off. Here's the thing. She doesn't owe him
Oh,
anything. Remember, they're
she
not in a
told him without
relationship,
telling.
right? They're not in a
Oh, she
relationship,
told
right?
him without telling it. Is that how we doing?
So
She told
so
him.
so by that
I'm not telling
logic,
you.
Trey, she didn't owe.
But
He,
here's the thing. He doesn't have to stop doing what he's doing. So whether
wait,
she told him beforehand or whether she told him after is irrelevant because they're not together.
wait,
So
you
how
got
am I
him
gonna
guilty
trust
already.
your wife unless you tell me, unless you
Because he
communicate?
doesn't need to know they're not together.
You already got him guilty.
Okay, I got you.
He's not
He led
guilty.
with honesty. She
Oh,
went on a
he
blog
cooked for
to
her out of the
ask other
goodness of her
people's
house.
opinions
He
instead
cooked
of
for her out of the
standing
goodness
on her hill.
of his heart.
That means that you have doubt.
Why he
He
don't go
may,
down to the soup
he
kitchen
may,
and cook
he
for
may.
everybody there?
And,
Okay, we
but
can
he said
try
He
this
ain't cooking
again.
for no
She
woman out of the goodness of his heart, bro. Come on,
he
stop
said he
it.
cooked for all his friends. That's what he said.
Right.
That's what
That's what
All
the
the
video.
female friends he trying to smash, yeah, of course.
that could
No,
be.
there is so many. I know. I don't. Okay, so we
great.
gotta.
I've cooked for women
Although
and I ain't
men want
smashed.
the draws, okay,
Okay.
there are men who want the draws, but there are also men like I forget who said it. Maybe James. Maybe he's in culinary. Maybe he took 2 years of culinary school. If you look at that food, because I worked in restaurants before, okay.
Professionally made.
No. First of all, men don't even have shit in their refrigerators, okay? They don't have groceries, let alone pesto sauce to put on top of some steak, okay? All right? They don't have no groceries. They eat out, they Uber Eats. You will find liquor in their refrigerators, okay? Let's be real. All right? So, for him to have done that and they're not dating, they're not, I think a lot of times women worry about other women. Okay. And that's a no go. You don't worry about other women, worry about yourself. If you worry about other women, they always say the comparison is the thief of joy, right? So you worried about him sending you pictures of food that he's cooked, that he cooks for everybody. He lets you know that he cooks for his friends. You don't like that aspect of him. You don't like that he's social. You don't like that he takes the time out that a lot of men won't do to cook for his friends. I know a man who went to culinary school. He'll cook for his group of friends because they're a close knit of friends. They share food together, they share music, they share stories, they went to high school together, and that's how they fellowship. That's how they have fun together. They don't have to go to a restaurant because somebody in a group know how to cook, and everybody should have somebody in a group that know how to cook. Okay. Okay, somebody need to cook the food so we can have some good food, some good drinks, some good conversation. All right. So the way that I'm looking at it is, okay, he sent her the photos. Hey, look, I cooked. And there actually was another video that came out, and the girl who he cooked for pretty much said, hey, look, we're all friends. I don't even like this man sexually. He don't like me sexually. He just does this because that's what he does for his friends. I don't think, again, women shouldn't worry about other women. Why are you worried about another woman? You're wasting your time. The moment you start worrying about another woman is you done gave everything, every insecurity or whatever you got to that woman. Because if y'all are not dating yet and he hasn't said, oh, I want to be with you, and you don't see nobody else on his arm, you treat him the way you treat him, but you don't look at everything he does with other people as, oh my God, they got a one up on me, or oh my God, he's doing this for them. So, and who cares? when y'all are in a committed relationship, okay, I can understand. But for you not to like for him to be social and your mind is already wondering that, oh well, he's doing other things for other women intimately. She only thinks that because a lot of men don't do that. They don't go out of their way. So now you have someone who actually does it, and now you're thinking the worst of him. You're thinking that he's wanting to be with this girl intimately, and it's like, no, why can't a man want to cook and it be okay for his friends?
Can I
Did
say
she
this?
say he was in
Let me
culinary
just say this.
school?
Let me say this though, Precious.
No.
Listen,
Did she say he was in
my
culinary
brother
school?
cooks too, right? He cooks and he places food. He does all that for his wife. One day he dressed up the whole table. He had candles. He had the food out there and everything. And the first thing I thought is, okay, what did you do wrong? What did you do wrong to set it up like that? Because I'm telling you that this guy sent that picture to her. Like you could agree that he was trying to see what the boundaries might be. Now that's the first part. The second part, whether it was, why do you have to say, well, I got a honey over here, and I'm just me and my honey, me and the honey that's not mine. I'm just gonna feed her this gourmet meal, and then I'm gonna send her ass. I got the Uber right after the shit's done, and she's gonna be gone. And I'll call you back after it's done, sweetheart, so we can start to connect together, so we can see if there's any future for me and you. Listen, I hear where you're coming from. It's a scenario. We're talking scenarios. Your scenario could be right, but mine could be right also. That's all I'm saying.
Man, look how
Are you required to deal with anything that you don't want?
He said nothing about a honey. He said a friend. Honey's different. That's a.
It was a Freudian slip. I meant to say friend.
I can't do that. She's a friend. That's the title I gotta give her.
And so is the girl he cooking for.
You said what you meant.
She your friend too.
Look here, man. Y'all read to in the morning. Look here, I'm gonna say it again. I bet you that girl that was complaining about this shit, I bet she got a guy friend that she gonna call him complaining to them. Complain about what he did and the pictures he sent. I bet you that's the case.
I'm just thinking about all the guys who said they don't want a woman
He's
who have
supposed to
men in
accept
their
that, but
orbit.
she can't accept his friend.
Come
and
on,
so happens
man.
to be a female.
They not together. She don't have to accept anything.
You damn right.
You're absolutely right.
Wait.
Same thing goes for him, Trey.
You said it's one thing.
Exactly.
Wait, that's correct.
So if
why
the
you
same thing if the same
why are
thing goes
you
for him,
getting
then that
why are
means
you
that
getting
if she don't want to deal with it, she ain't got to deal with it.
Because
It
Wait.
don't have to make sense to us. It makes sense to her and her
Wait,
crazy ass mind.
there's
Let her believe if
context.
she
There's
wants to.
context to that. She has a choice of doing that. But the information that we got showed that she was insecure because she went on a blog and asked others' opinions rather than standing on her hill if she felt that way. She was like, that's implying, was I wrong? And then leading with her story to make it right. What I saw, everybody had, it could be right. Maybe he's testing her. Maybe he's doing this. Maybe that. But I saw it as honesty. He's showing her everything. Most men don't know how to put food on a charcuterie board or whatever they call it and then make meals that look like that. Maybe he is like, yo, maybe you should be here with me. I'm showing you what you're missing. We're not looking at it like that. But she said red flag. So where was the discussion before you broke off ties? She mentioned a snippet of that. And she was like, nah, this is a red flag for me. Bye.
What's crazy is he could have been bragging about her to this girl.
Exactly.
That, you know what I mean? Like, y'all, I really like this girl. Try out these dishes that I want to cook for her. Like, you just never know. See, this is what happens when you worry about another woman. You don't know what. I know y'all are men. And y'all
What part of the game
he
is
wanted
that?
to smash. But every man is not like that, because if he just wanted to smash, he would be hiding what he's doing. He would be not being on the forefront of what he's doing. He would just be sliding off with old girl cooking for her, and they having a little afternoon, and she would never even be able to get on TikTok to talk about what she should do in the situation because she wouldn't even know.
Facts. And I was gonna say too, we gotta be realistic. Look at all these guys in the friend zone. We know a lot of guys, they want to put their thing in these girls, and these women are not allowing that. So we gotta be realistic. They probably ain't even much touched each other because most guys are not getting played. We talk about this all the time. Now, when we in a situation where this guy cooking, you think he getting play? He cooking for a woman? Most guys that cook for women ain't getting no play. Let's be realistic.
Were they alone?
The man's wrong for being honest. If he was lied to the heifer, he'd be wrong for that. He can't win.
He's
Yeah,
not wrong. He's not wrong for being honest. Nobody said he was wrong. He's not wrong for being honest. You just don't get any brownie points for being honest.
Y'all making him sound like he's a goddamn cheater, like he cheated on this woman.
Nope, I'm not saying he cheated on her either.
Hey, that's exactly what you did.
I said it. Well, I didn't say he cheated on a woman. I just said
Pain, you lined it up like you said he was going. He was lining it up to feed her to have sex. That's what
right.
you
That
said.
don't mean he was cheating. I didn't say he was cheating.
You playing
That's
telephone
exactly
now.
what he was doing.
You playing telephone now.
No, we ain't playing telephone, man. That's not cheating. If I would have called him a cheater, I would have called him a cheater. I'm saying.
You know what? Let's use your words. Freudian slip.
No, not on this situation. I said that wasn't.
You said he's wrong, Payne.
You said he was wrong.
What is he wrong about?
I said I agree with her.
You know, because you said he's wrong. What is he wrong about?
No. I said I agree with her. Where did I say he was wrong? I said he was wrong for sending her the pictures.
Okay.
You know, that's what he sent her the pictures to see the boundaries she would accept. Period.
So now you just admitted.
What's the point of saying
he was wrong?
And he never knew about the boundaries that was never discussed between them two.
Obviously, didn't have a conversation about that.
Okay, so but you're gonna punish me for some stuff I didn't know about.
Why is he punished?
How is he punished?
She's knocking the chick out that night.
Well,
How is
if
he
she
punished?
said,
How is he getting punished? He got a
she
nice,
punished him like
juicy
if they
woman in
wasn't.
his house.
The
Why is
punishment
he
is
getting
that she
punished?
said, "I'm no longer going to talk to you."
So
because
what? He don't care.
How you know he don't care? You speaking for him.
He tested
Because he
boundaries.
sent her the
and she
picture. He
said,
don't
"These are
care.
not-
He
these
just
are
no
boundaries
boundaries
I
because
can't
there is
accept."
no boundaries.
That had nothing to
There's no
do with the
boundaries.
picture.
Well, how
That
could you
came
say
before.
she mentioned the word boundaries? She mentions that she had boundaries. How you going to tell me that he
got no
doesn't
damn
have one? He
boundaries.
sent her those pictures to see how she will react, and she doesn't want to deal with him no more.
I'll give you
And he
that.
said,
Say that's a
next.
possibility. Say that's a possibility.
I promise you this.
Talking
Let me tell you what happened. I bet our ass called her the next day.
Okay, let's
I
see.
bet
Now you
called
guys
her
are
the
just
next day.
adding shit in there. You know
Well,
what?
which one is it? Did she call him the next day, or did she call her male
got some
best friend the
slippage
next
for
day?
you
Which
too.
one?
The conversation from what I remember, she cut it off.
She called him the next day.
That's him talking.
I would call him too and ask him if he had
worth playing
leftovers.
Make that videos because you guys heard.
I would have been like, "What's that second picture?"
You're right. Yeah, I'd be like, "Hey, did you have anything left over?"
I think, you live and you learn, and as you have experience, I'll say this and I'll continue to say this. You have to give room to study a man and not make assumptions right off the bat, because us women can do that. We can have all these voices in our head and they all could be wrong because we're making assumptions. So, I think she could have just not has said to him, well, look, this is I don't accept this, because she don't even know what that is. You can't say you don't accept something when you don't even know what it is. She assumed that this man is whining and dining someone else. She assumed those things. And because he sent her pictures, it's like, well, I'm not going to accept if you're having intimate time with someone else. And it's like, but y'all are not even together. I don't know. And maybe, it's a lot of things that I'm learning, continuing to learn about myself, and that people are actually bringing to my attention. And what has been brought to my attention recently and before, and I know about myself, is that I can detach, right? That's a thing that women don't know how to do. And what she is doing is detaching. She's like, hey, look, you cooking and I'm good. I don't want to see that. It's not something that's good for me. So I'm just not going to stay with it. Right. But at the end of the day, sometimes when you do that, you don't know what you're missing out on. Some people can use discernment and say, you know what, this ain't right with my spirit. Like, this is just not going to work for me. But there are some times where you assume things because you don't give it time, and you could be messing up something that is good for you in the future. Right. So I think that sometimes women have to be a little bit more patient. We have to practice patience. because then that can over time, you know what I mean, reveal other things that you could be assuming could be going on. Now, in this situation, I would have looked at the pictures. I would have been like, well, we ain't together. Like, you ain't my man. I'm not your woman. So I'm not going to fault you for having an experience because I don't know what the experience was. I can't assume. I can't even feel bad, honestly, if you slept with this woman because we're not together. It's like the nature of the relationship. What are y'all talking on the phone? What are you every now and again communicating? It's like there's no possession. You don't possess this man. He hasn't possessed you. You haven't possessed him. So why are those behaviors so adamant up front? Like why is there the possession so, to me, strong up front? Like, well, I can't have you doing that. Well, what kind of life can this man who's not your man live on his terms while he not in your sight? What can he do? Is there a list? Is there a list of things that he just cannot do while y'all are getting to know each other? Trey, is there a list of things that a woman can't do when you are
Absolutely.
What are those things? Please enlighten us.
Man, I don't want to pull out my phone, but let's see.
Not the
I got some notes. Let's see. What's something that I wouldn't tolerate even if we weren't together? Link ups with an ex. I wouldn't tolerate that. If she said, "Oh, we went to go have lunch," or just on some innocence, okay, cool. I would never talk to her again.
Okay.
So you don't have to be in a relationship. Here's the thing. Let me ask you a question. Is a person who knows what they are not going to tolerate or accept a secure person or an insecure person?
When they know what they're not going to tolerate, they're a secure person, in my opinion.
So even if it makes no sense to the outside person, we would still say that person's secure.
Yeah, I would say that person is secure. Mind you, she's fine. Like we were saying earlier, she don't have to tolerate that. Like, right? She don't have to. I always say that. Like, you ain't gotta tolerate nothing. I don't have to tolerate anything.
Right.
But if we think about it and we just take it a step further, and to say, okay, let's take a step back and analyze this, right? She don't have to tolerate anything. She can go move on to the next man, and the next man could not do those things that man did. Maybe he has a love for cooking, and she just can't fathom him sharing that with other people in an experience, and that is her boundary. You're allowed to have that boundary, right? But when we're talking about it in conversation, and is it a boundary or is it an insecurity? Giving the information that was given in that she gave, pretty much saying, we're not friends. She said it over and over again. You're not my man. It's fine. We're not together. When you emphasize those things, but then say, oh, I have a boundary. Usually you have boundary with things that you have already let in. I've already let you in and I've already let you know my boundaries. So since you already know my boundaries, if you cross those boundaries, then we have something to talk about. But if we're not friends and we're not together and it's fine that he has company, then I can't say, oh, well, guys, what do you think? Is it insecurity or is it a boundary? Because again, when you start asking people, it becomes an insecurity when you as a woman already know that that's not something that's going to fly with you. That's not something that's going to fly with you. So you're insecure about you feeling the way that you do about him cooking for somebody else. It's like, if you secure with it, why come to the internet and say, oh, guys, do you think I should be doing it? If I'm secure with something, I'm not going to come to the internet and say, should I be doing this or not? I'm just going to rock out with what I feel is my secure decision.
That's women and attention. That's modern day women and attention. That's not anything.
But that's not secure. If a modern woman needs attention, she's not secure.
Okay, I agree. I can agree with that if she's not secure on that front. But I think that a woman is saying that I'm not cool with this. Here's something that I've learned. A lot of times you don't know what you're good with until it actually happens to you. I'll give you an example. Last relationship. Thought I would be okay with couples massages. I'm like, I can handle this. I can handle this, no problem, right? Lady gonna rub on me, it's gonna be nothing. This is gonna be nothing. I can move through this. In the middle of the massage, she jumps up and starts laughing, talking about he tickled her.
Oh, the guy massaging?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Now she has a spot on her lower back. I know because I've done it, right? But he tickled her. I thought I was okay with this until it happened. And I realized I'm not okay with this.
Why weren't you okay with it?
Because there's another man tickling my girl.
But did you not know that was a possibility before he laid hands on her?
But that's the point I'm trying to make. Maybe she thought she could be okay with this until he sent her that picture.
His ego went
he sent her that picture, and she's like, I can't handle this. Because that's what I told her. I was like, I thought I was good with this. I can't handle it.
When he tickle that,
and he tickling you. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. Sorry.
Don't worry about what he tickling at. You better ask what he tickling with.
Look, this was the most uncomfortable, quiet car ride home ever.
What? Trey, are you serious?
I'm dead serious. I really truly thought I could handle it. But you know what the thing is? You know what the thing was, Precious? I thought I was secure. I'm like, I'm good. I'm secure. I'm good. She don't like, man, the way she popped, she jumped up. And mind you, you know how you on the massage chair? I popped up looking at her like, what the hell's going on in here?
Simone?
So he couldn't have been 80 years old. He must have been, I
don't think anybody in the room was over 30. Even the girl that was giving me a massage was cute. Like, everybody's attractive in the room, but that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is, I thought I was secure enough to deal with this until it happened.
You should have known.
My thing is, what exactly made you insecure? The fact that she got tickled? Because I mean, if her body is ticklish, you really ain't doing no tickling to her. That's her natural reaction. So you can't take the credit for that.
In order for her to be tickled, he had to touch her at a certain spot.
Was it the spot? I mean, Trey, I'm gonna need some more information.
When you get a massage, you getting your whole body touched.
I'm not gonna go deep into it, but the point is,
because the deepness would explain the insecurity, is what I'm saying.
The insecurity came
because a massage is a massage. We know you're going to get. I like massages. One of my love languages is physical touch, right? So I like to go get massaged. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there has to be a certain place that she was touched where you're like, oh shit, I'm not okay with this. I don't even know why I spent my money on this.
I'll be honest with you. Oh no, I didn't pay for it. After that whole incident happened, I walked out. But anyway,
wait, you walked out. You know what? There's too much to this story. There's too much to this story that we don't know. There's too much.
Honestly, Precious, I have given her several massages, and she would get ticklish even when I gave it to her. I didn't think about it. It didn't cross my mind. I wasn't paying. I just didn't think about it. It wasn't like, oh, we can't do that because you're ticklish in your lower back. And it just didn't cross my mind. It didn't cross my mind to think about it until she started giggling, and I was like, oh shit! Like, I knew it immediately when it happened. I was like, oh, I forgot about it. And the point I'm trying to make about it, that's too. He making her smile. He making her giggle. He touching her. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it.
Isn't this massage to feel good though? You didn't like that. That's her feeling good like that.
That's what I'm trying to explain.
So it's okay that she gets the massage, but because you couldn't control the good feelings that she was feeling, was this an insecurity of yours?
Yep. Yep.
Got you.
Yep. I wanted to strangle that dude. Yep.
Wait.
See why you agree with that chick now?
So just a question: who scheduled the massage? Who scheduled the massage?
No cooking, no massage.
No, she scheduled it because we went to a spot that she used to go to. So here's the thing:
She's been there.
Well,
the plot
because this is pointless. We're not together anymore, so it doesn't matter. And
no, there's points.
No, it doesn't matter because it's all retrospective and it doesn't matter. It's all in the past. We're not gonna get back together. It doesn't matter. I'm making a point about security. I'm using an example about security, and I think she may have thought she was okay with this until it actually happened, and she got the pictures, and she was like, "I'm not okay with this." That can happen to people.
Agreed. But
I just thought I would use a funny story to tell y'all that I thought I was okay
Oh,
with
you
it.
told us a story, all right. I want some oxtails and rice and peas too, Lauren Mack. I mean, shoot, if he out there, I'm saying. We could go running afterwards too. I don't mind that either.
Holes in her story comes when she goes online. Women are emotional, and you're looking for validation through other people that you made the right decision.
Yep, we talked about this last week, Monday.
Or clicks and views.
The dopamine,
Attention. Yeah.
putting your dirty laundry out there.
People do it all the time on now. That. Listen, we would have nothing to talk about if ain't nobody put their dirty laundry out there.
What's mofango? Do y'all know?
Mofongo?
Mofongo? What is that?
That's plantain mashed into like a pulp and with spices, onions, and other vegetables. Dominicans usually make that, right? Tasty.
Okay.
But they put that pork on the side of that. I can't do that.
I'm cutting out the pork.
Nah, they got other stuff that you could put with it, but it's pretty tasty.
Okay. Learning something new tonight. All right. So let's move on to this next clip. It is of Martell and Melody Holt, which they're not the Holts anymore. They got a divorce. This is a show, Love and Marriage Huntsville. Have any of you ever heard of it? Love and Marriage Huntsville, Alabama?
Yeah, I'm from Alabama, so I watched it a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I've watched it when it came out about maybe 3 or 4 years ago. They got a couple of seasons. I've actually met one of the couples. I was in Atlanta and met one of the couples that's on the show. But this couple got a divorce. So James, I'm glad you know what's going on, so you can speak to it a little bit, because everybody else is just going to be observing their actions and maybe not know the backstory. But they got a divorce. Martell cheated on his wife, had a side baby. They had already they have 4 kids together, and pretty much had a nasty divorce, and he allegedly took some money from her, and so she's reacting in this clip.
Oh, no, I got it, man. Why are you acting like that?
Quit recording me. Like, don't be recording me like you gonna put me out on blogs or some shit. Don't fucking record me. Don't. So record this, okay? Since you never.
Oh, you gonna tear up my? No, chill out.
Take the money out my
Don't play.
No, don't play with me.
Don't make things worse.
I will.
Okay.
I will. Call them and get my money moved back to the account.
No, it's our money.
It's split 50-50 like it's supposed to be.
We didn't split the $150,000 50-50. What? Why are you messing our shit up? Don't do, Mel. Stop, Mel. Mel, don't do this shit.
Today I'm going.
Don't.
Quit acting innocent.
No, I'm saying don't do that.
Quit acting like you have not pushed
No, do not. You go ruin the furniture.
And I can go. I don't care.
You gonna ruin the furniture. No. Do not put that on.
Oh. Call now. I'm not playing with you.
I can't wait to watch the playback. Yo.
You like nonsense like that, huh?
No, I do it to get you guys' reaction because I have the men's panel, and there will be women who will say that she's justified, right? Martell put her through so much, and he cheated on her and had a side baby, and you know, this anger that she has now is justified, and you know, he's gaslighting her, and now she's literally got lighter fluid, and she's about to light up his stuff. What do you guys think when you watch something like that? Because I think that women get to their wits' end, but they don't necessarily know how to get to their wits' end. You know what I mean? And it becomes something, it looks something like that. And I think that a lot of it's not necessarily recorded like that is. So what do you guys think about that?
I would say, man, honestly, if you are reporting to be the good person in a relationship, of somebody did you wrong or did you dirty, right? The best thing is not to do is not to try to get them back, because now you got dirt in your hands now. So the best thing to do is just to leave. So if somebody did something wrong to me, just like my ex-wife did, she did something wrong to me. I ain't did shit wrong to her. I left, and then I proceeded to get full custody of my son because I wanted to make sure I raised him. You know what I'm saying? So I did that. That's it. I wasn't trying to get her back. I ain't trying to set some on fire, none of that bullshit. So I think we get immature we got to be more mature, I should say, when situations happen that's not in our favor, rather than trying to get violent or try to do something stupid. Because honestly, he just wanted to get new floors. You know what I mean? People in real estate, we understand, like, all right, I already got insurance on this shit, so I'm just going to record your stupid ass, line it up. I won't get new couches out of it too, and you're going to have to pay for it. That's what he's really thinking, but he's recording it so people can see what he had to deal with. So when the situation come out that he cheated or had a baby by another woman, they can say, oh, well, this is what happened. Women do it too. They'll push a man to do something violent to him or something like that, and then they find out they was cheating the whole relationship, and then they say, this is why I was cheating, rather than you just leaving. So it's just a lot of this stuff is we like to be in a bad situation. We love that toxicity and all that BS that comes along with it, and we just need to get out of that situation, be better people.
I'll definitely agree with that. Just leave. Why retaliate? Trey, I'm interested. What you got to say?
I would have matched her crazy. It would have been a fun night. We both probably would have been covered in lighter fluid. Because I don't get it. You're going to destroy things? Fine, then destroy it. Like at that point, it's what's done is done. And you burning up the house and burning up the furniture is not going to change the fact that I had a baby with somebody else. Not going to change anything. Not going to change the fact that we getting divorced. It's not going to change the fact that I took the money. You're going to have to sue me to get the money. So you're going to do all that for nothing. So I'll match you crazy. I'll see you're crazy, and I'll raise you a little bit more crazy. And we'll just see where it goes. Because what I've seen is you guys will always try to take this high road. And then when the police show up, you get locked up. And you took the high road. I recorded it. I did all this. And you still walking out in handcuffs. How'd that work? I said, y'all know my belief. If I'm going to jail, I'm going to make it worth my while. Because I'm probably in most jurisdictions going anyway. Because most of the time it's already written in the policies to take the man. So if I'm going to go, I'm going to make it worth my while. She obviously has not dealt with her pain. Not like you put her through a lot of crap. She has not dealt with it. And I don't quite understand how setting the torch is going to fix any of that. But it is what it is. But yeah, she got the right guy. He's a nice guy. He's a more mature guy than I would have been. I'll say that.
So were they already divorced at that point, or are they going through the process?
At that point, I believe they were going through the process of the divorce, but you know how things are recorded in reality TV, and then so I believe they were going through the process at that time in the episodes. But they're divorced now. They definitely are divorced now.
Well, man, I'm putting her on paper. I'm putting her on paper, man. I'm getting her for arson. Go ahead and light it all up. Be like Left Eye. Go ahead.
Jeez, not waiting to exit.
Light that bitch up if you want to. I got homeowners insurance. I got home warranty. Yeah, I'm good. Go on, light it up if you want to, but I can't wait till they put your ass behind bars for doing what you did. So go ahead and light it up. Set this bitch on fire. The roof is on fire. Pain, you know that song with your old ass. You don't need no mother. Let this mother burn, baby.
Don't give Lauren Mack any more goddamn ammunition. She can't.
No, but on a real note, I definitely would have. I think he did right as far as documenting it, as far as video. If that's his house, I don't know why he's bringing her back in the house or letting her back in. That don't make sense to me at all. Yeah.
They have kids. It could have been
I don't care. She's not coming back in my house.
Oop.
We got 20 kids. What do you need coming in my house? Matter of fact, we're gonna meet at a neutral place. Let's meet at the local grocery store. Our kid, they got certain stations in certain states and cities, exchanging of custody and kids and all that. Take advantage of those places like the sheriff's, the substations, these police substations, or these the sheriff departments, or these fire departments. Use those as a public place, well lit. Hopefully, have cameras and exchange the kids. Yeah, there's nothing for us to have a conversation about. Matter of fact, everything I'm gonna do it either via text or email. That's all gonna be our communication. So I have documentation. This heifer's crazy. And it's showing all over her face by the way she's acting right now. Now, I understand why she's upset. Because the man did what he did. Now, he dead wrong for that shit. He dead wrong for doing that, bringing a baby home, cheating on his wife and all. He's dead wrong for that. But now that you already made that established that we get divorced and it's all over, then, we need to move on from there. And you need to move differently. You know what I'm saying? So.
I can give you a little bit backstory. My sister actually lives in, she moved to Huntsville. I'm from Birmingham, but we from Birmingham, but she moved up there. And some of the backstory is that their relationship been over for a while. And he was bringing the baby mama to church and everything. So they was out all the time. You know what I mean? So, but they like to play it on the show is that like they was together and but it wasn't like that. Like she stopped giving him sex a long time ago. It wasn't as often as he would like because she was more focused on the business and what she was doing. So that's why he's seen as some younger, and he didn't really want to be with that chick either. That was just something he wanted to pass time with, to get his nut off because he wasn't getting it from his wife. So that's she got pregnant. Now she got to file for divorce because now it's a baby here. Now I can't continue let's make this money and all this type of shit, knowing what you're doing and you not getting caught. But she already knew. And like a lot of these ladies with men with a lot of money, they already know what they're doing. So she's no exception to the rule.
Also, she wasn't giving up them cheeks, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So what he had to do, he had to supplement. He had to supplement the cheeks.
On second thought, burn all it all. Burn it all up. He's an idiot. Burn it. Burn everything he got. Hey, you're not getting sex, so you go get another woman pregnant? That doesn't make any sense. There's no logical reason for that. You can go have a side piece, sure. There's rules to this game. You don't get another woman pregnant, bro. That's not how the game is played.
He had to
burn all that, man. I'll help her. Give me somebody for it. I'll help her.
Look, we had this conversation before. You got to supplement the cheeks. You got to contract her out.
So let me just jump in real quick. One, so that scene was part of the show or not?
No, I think that was personal videos.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I think that was something that he just said.
Brother Payne, can I take odds on what I think? I think Brother Payne's gonna agree with everything she did. She did everything right.
No, don't take no odds.
It's wonderful odds. I bet he's like
well, Hank, actually, I agree with you. I would have, if somehow, if I wouldn't have got it caught on video, I would want her to burn the whole thing down. This way, when I go to court, I have a case to get the kids. I got a case to have no child support. I have a case. And listen, Judge, she's crazy. She burned down the house. And, so why, I would have a big case where I could be rid of this woman, have my kids and everything else. And so if I would have been able to just push her over, just every so often, just need a little push, like in Batman and shit. Just light that shit up, man. And I'll have it on camera. I'll just back out the door and shit, call the cops. And that's what I would have done. And she would have been in there. Maybe she would have came out with burning a little bit. That shit would have been sweet, man. I might have put her out, maybe.
That's exactly what he was doing. Look how calm he was, calling her by name. Oh, I can't believe. Are you really doing that? Oh,
Yeah,
you didn't even know.
Yeah, I would have had a box of matches
His
somewhere
chess
on the
game, his chess game was immaculate right there.
couch.
She was like, "Oh, did you really do that? You wasn't listening to his tonality?"
Never heard of, but you know what? But you know, did she have one of those starters in her hand?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you use on the barbecue pit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have mind melded her or something.
Crime of passion. She wouldn't have done a day in prison. You know, there's a woman that stabbed her ex-lover like 100 times. She didn't see a day in prison.
Yeah, I just read about
You said
that
she
a couple
didn't
days
see a day
ago.
in prison.
Not one
Not a
day.
day. Not
No,
one day.
I just read about that a couple of days ago, Trey.
Why?
We're not in the age of women being held. I know people think it's happening because we got a few.
It's not.
You know what I mean? But it's not. That's not what's happening. I guarantee you, she probably would have burned that whole house down. And after they heard the story of how he was rolling, that jury would not have convicted her.
Crime of passion.
California? What happened? Where is that? California or something?
Yeah, I think it was something like that. Yeah, I did read about that. That judge is under
Crime
fire.
of passion? Do you think so? Hypothetically, if she did burn that house down, because of the money aspect, do you think that they would call that a crime? Like, what exactly is a crime of passion? I mean, Jesus. What?
It's like this. Say someone does something to you that makes you really, really upset, and you harm that person, in a manner that you otherwise would not do. Your passion, your anger drove you to do it. You had no control over yourself. It's the argument. There's nothing you can do because you couldn't control yourself. No, nothing you can do about it. So it's not your fault.
You couldn't control.
And that only works for women, by the way, for the most part. Don't work for men.
No, but that's the argument for crimes of passion. That's the argument. I mean, I don't agree with it. I don't think anyone on this panel does, but that's the argument, and that's what won. So, yeah, she stabbed the guy like 100 and some odd times.
So, does she still have full control over her life, not being in prison? Like, she couldn't control herself, so she stabbed someone to death, but they allowed her to be free, and she has full autonomy over her life and the decisions she makes.
To my knowledge, yes, because it was just a temporary thing. Precious. It was a moment.
Temporary thing?
The crime of passion. It was just a moment. It was just she had a moment, okay, where she lost control. She was not herself. She was not herself, Precious. She couldn't help it. Haven't you been so angry sometimes that you did something you knew you thought afterwards that you could that man, I shouldn't have done that. I don't know what happened. I blacked out. Haven't you had that?
Yeah, Precious.
That's the
psychologists have that's
the argument.
This is about rage and emotions and the actual they study and people can get away with it. People are bringing up Left Eye, but Left Eye didn't go to prison. She got 5 years probation.
It's the same thing. Like Trey, that
just
crime.
because you burn a house down does not mean you're going to prison.
Right. Like Trey, remember that rich kid who killed somebody, but the judge let him off because they claimed he had influenza. Affluenza. Yeah. He had affluenza. I'm like, affluenza. I was like, stop the madness. Affluenza. That's what got him off. That to me was insane. They said he was so spoiled, so rich, so entitled. He doesn't know how to operate around regular people. He doesn't know what he's doing is wrong.
Prison would actually do more harm to him than rehabilitate him. It was the argument.
Right. That was the argument. Because he didn't know, and he doesn't know what he's doing. He didn't know that what he was doing was wrong. He didn't know it was wrong. Prison would do more harm to him than rehabilitating.
There's all kinds of stories. There was a guy who was essaying a woman. Another guy came in and stopped it. Yep. And that guy never went to prison.
Now, one of my favorite shows was How to Get Away with Murder, but I've never really. I'm really mad that Wes died and that the show is over. But anyways. I never really thought that, people really study these things and get away with it.
Oh, yeah.
That's a red flag, no, man, my wife used to.
No, I don't have that type of bone in my body. Like there are some women that are, I don't know. I could just,
Precious, you a woman?
Yeah, I'd rather be I'd rather be non-confrontational than to make a confrontation out of things, because I just don't have time. Like, I just don't have the time. I don't have the fortitude for it. I don't have the fortitude for it. I think that that's a young girl's game to play. I don't have time for them games. Like, I'm not.
Now you know why I don't date 25-year-olds.
Yeah, because
that's because y'all boring. 25-year-olds are exciting.
No, they're not.
25-year-olds are toxic.
You're right. I don't have time for that nonsense.
Yeah, like I just like stabbing and burning down houses and things like that. I mean, that takes away time from, well, obviously it don't. I mean, obviously you can get away with it, but I still wouldn't take my chances with it. I'm good.
Y'all can have it.
You know, I got responsibilities and things. So that's another thing. Like, I don't understand these women who just don't think. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something where you just don't think. And again, I think that is a young girl's game. Like, you're not thinking, you don't have no responsibilities, you don't care about other people's feelings, you just don't care about the outcomes. That's one of those things. But there are older women who could probably, burn a house down, or you got Melody Holt, putting lighter fluid in the living room, in the dining room, on the furniture. So hey, and she's definitely in her 30s. So I just don't I don't have the energy.
One thing I could say to you, Precious, is a lot of people don't know what they would do until that situation happens. I think a lot of people say, I would do this and I would do that. I think you want to be able to be in control of your emotions. But I had pulled up to a ton of DVs and people were acting outside of themselves, because I truly don't even think they were in control of their emotions. I'm talking male and female. I don't think they were in control of their emotions. It happened. If you walk in on somebody that you love, you admire, you respect, and he's clapping the cheeks of another woman, I don't know. I don't think that people can react the way they think they're going to react. I think that they're just going to react. And then if you later find out that same woman that you walked in on is pregnant, it's just a reaction. And I don't know where that goes. I don't know how that happens. For everybody is different. I think we all have an idea of the way we want it to be, but I don't know if we can actually do it. And this is how people end up deceased. It was never supposed to get that far. It wasn't supposed to go that far, but it's just a reaction. I mean, I've been on scenes where guys have deleted a woman and he didn't even remember it. He didn't even remember it. When you ask him, like, do you know what's going on right now? And he was, no, I blacked out. She was sleeping with my brother, or she was sleeping with my dad. And once I found out, I just blacked out. Well, why? What's wrong? Sir, you're under arrest for murder. Huh? Wait, what?
But if a woman did that, you're saying that she would get probation? Like, what?
She would definitely get probation, but whether or not she goes to prison.
Yeah, she'll be arrested. She'll be arrested because, as a cop, he'd have to arrest her. A crime happened here. He can't just say, "Oh, well, have a good night, ma'am." So she would get arrested. But would she go to prison? They can argue her way out of that. They can now argue in a court of law. They can argue that woman out of it. It's sad, but it's true. Or if you're rich, well, I don't know any better. I didn't know it was wrong. Yeah, you beat this guy to death, like literally. What do you mean? I mean, what's wrong? That's a problem? Yeah, it's a problem. Like, they have to explain these things to these people. You know what I'm saying? He's not, and that one kid of the case I'm talking about, come to find out, that's not the only case of affluenza that's gotten somebody off from going to prison. It's a thing, man. I mean, but no, don't burn anything in my house. Weird shit like that. Just address the video. No, we ain't playing that game. I'm calling the police.
Yeah, like, I don't believe in messing up somebody else's possessions. Like,
but I can't put. Here's the thing: like, Trey is a former cop. Trey, I can't put my hands on anybody. The second he comes in the door and gets a sight of me, he's like, "Yeah, dude, come here. Put these on your wrist. Turn around, sir." But wait, she, sir. Turn around.
What y'all talking about in the chat?
Sir,
Quincy
turn around.
said gas
Yeah, I can't
station
fool
bills
around.
have you harder than Chinese.
You talking about that Black Rhino?
How'd you get there?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, because it's Lauren. Lauren be
He
talking about
always
some
has some
left
funny
stuff.
stuff in the chat. Quincy always be having me rolling. All right.
Yeah, but there's some guys, you know, different strokes for different folks, and apparently the justice system works that way too. You know, like I said, with the cops, I don't give them any problems. I cooperate, and so I'm going to ask you questions. It's going to be the easiest traffic stop you ever have in your career.
There's just a lot of external factors in that case. You know what I mean? Like she used to say, I'm emotional. I'm stressed out. I'm having mental health issues because this man cheated on me. And there's just so many ways that this can go, and what the light that they can paint her in, and say, well, this is just a reaction to what happened to her. And I'm telling you, man, I've seen people get charged and booked on murder and walk out the front door. You be like, what is going on right now? And they be walking out right with their lawyer. You be like, what is going on right now?
Now that's the key piece. Now that's one thing I did learn about how to get away with murder.
That show turned.
That lawyer.
Yeah, but later on that show got lame though. Everybody was killing somebody. Everybody was in trouble with getting away with it in some unrealistic way. I was like, all right, this has gotten goofy.
Yeah, but it was a lot of twists and so that's the only type of show I'll watch like that. I'm not this person that watch these documentaries and stuff like that. I barely watch TV, but that one had me in a chokehold. So did everybody else talk about this Martell and Melody Holt and her behavior towards him? I'll play it one more time.
Oh, no, I got it now. Why are you acting like that?
Quit recording me. Like, don't be recording me like you're going to put me out on blogs or some shit. Don't fucking record me. Don't. So record this, okay? Since you never.
You gonna tap my...
No, chill out. Don't play with me.
Don't make things worse.
I will.
Okay.
I will. Call them and get my money moved back to the account.
No, it's our money.
It's split 50-50 like it's supposed to be.
We didn't split the $150,000 50-50. What?
I'm
Shut up. Don't do that. Stop, man. Man, don't do this. Don't.
Quit acting innocent.
No, I'm saying don't do that.
Acting like you have not pushed
No, do not. You go ruin the furniture.
And I can go.
Oh no, baby! Don't do it.
No,
don't do it.
I'm not playing with you.
Hey, James, is this her house too? Technically,
I'm not for sure. I didn't see their house like that. I the inside, but I think it could be.
I think that was their marital house.
Oh, yeah. Then she can't go to jail then.
But I did see it looked like that was a couple of different
burning up your own stuff.
But isn't it arson?
Well, no,
That's
you
arson.
can't.
No, it's not arson. No, you can.
Really?
You can never be charged for destroying your own property.
Yes, you can.
Yes,
And
you
I know
can.
you can.
Okay. In
Anyway.
Washington D.C., you cannot be charged with destroying your own property.
That's new.
Wow.
No, wow, that's in Washington,
Maybe
D.C.
it's different in other jurisdictions.
But
if I decide that I want to go burn my car up, there's nothing anybody can do. Now they can charge me for if there's damages like to the government street and stuff like that. Yeah. But nobody. Yeah, it's mine. I can do whatever I want with my own stuff.
It looked like it was a couple of different instances in the video, is what I was gonna say. Because her hair looked different in a couple of different scenes, so it's not something that he recorded once. But yeah, that does look like their marital house that they had together, because when they separated, I don't think they were inside each other's houses and all of that. But yeah, it just seems like she's a woman scorned. But I always say that they had I believe they were married for like, I want to say over 15 years. I want to say maybe longer than 15 years. I want to say. So having children and having a marriage for that long, you know, I can understand her anger and I can understand, you know, how she feels. And then of course this is about money. But again, it's like, why destroy the property even if it is your prop, like even if you do own that property? Like that's what I don't understand with women. Is like, why would you go as far as to destroy property or things of that nature when you're mad or when you get to a point of what's in?
She would do anything to hurt the guy. That's what she did.
She
I
went to
think she
jail.
knew it would mean more to him because he would have to clean up the mess and not her. That kind of stuff. But you know, I mean, if she was smart, she would just go ahead. I mean, there's no judge. She would get all kinds of money from him and everything else. Even $100,000 he must have took. You know, he's gonna have to account for it somehow in arrears and all that kind of stuff. So she was just beside herself.
Mm.
But I can't imagine how tumultuous their marriage probably was anyway.
Yeah, a lot of times.
I just looked up the arson statute in Alabama. She wouldn't have gone to jail.
Oh
Man,
wow.
a lot of the ladies, they do this first. They touch the money, they move it to account, especially when they about to get divorced, and they'll take the whole thing. So she probably was trying to do that because down in the South, they train these women, especially in the South. That Southern girl mentality, they kind of went away, especially where I'm from. It was kind of going away. I'm not for sure about the other areas of in Birmingham. That shit is gone. So they teach them, hey, this is what you do. You make sure you put this money in this account, and then you good, you know, type of deal. But he already knew that was happening because he was raised by a single mom too as well. So he probably already moved that money away so she can take hold of it, and she got pissed off. And this is a way to try to get that money back and try to manipulate the situation. So, but it didn't work out because he already knew he was gonna burn this up, and then we would be so.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're gonna move on to this last clip of Corey Harkham. I always Holcomb. I think I always say his name wrong, but I wanted to play this clip. Holcomb, right? I wanted to play this clip because I think it's wild to talk like this. And I've also spoken to men who have been at the point of, I don't want to say giving up on their daughters, but they just don't know what to do after a certain point. So I wanted to play this and get you guys' opinion on it.
Run game on me like she was brought up by her mama. But you know what I'm saying? It's because she tried to run game on me like she was brought up by her mama. But you know what I'm saying? Instead of realizing I got away from her mama because I don't speak to her mama. She'd be like, I know you hate my mama. I'm like, I ain't got time to hate nobody. Your mama was drama. Now here it is all these years later. You just like your mama. Both of y'all can kiss my mother. I'll go make another daughter. I don't give a fuck. If you ain't good as a person, no matter who you are, I have a cutoff switch God blessed me with to say, you motherfucker. I don't give a fuck if it's my kid. My mama, you know your daughter trying to get in touch with you? I say, oh, mama, you watch that little ha!
All right, so I wanted to play that because yes, he's a comedian, right? So some things are said for shock value, right? But I think that there is truth in jokes. They always say there's at least, I think, 7 to 10% truth in a joke. So I wanted to talk about that because we know that when men leave the mother of their children, in essence, they're leaving the child too. And he talks about how this girl is now like her mother. So, but my question is, where was he at as a father? But what do you guys think of his dialogue about his daughter? Trey, go ahead. I see you busting at the seams. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I have a problem with what he said. I didn't have any problem with anything he said.
Okay, why?
If you're a piece of shit person, you're a piece of shit. I don't care if you related to me or not. If you are causing some sort of distress and problem in my life, I don't care what the relationship is. You need to go. You got to go. And it's one thing I can understand if she was 5. You know what I mean? But she's not. Mm-hmm. And if she's a reflection of her mother, and he didn't want to deal with her mother, I can understand why. So I didn't have a problem. It didn't bother me. I'm laughing at he's funny to me. I don't know. He makes me laugh. So everything he says it's the way he says it. It doesn't necessarily have to be funny. It's just the way he says it. But I didn't have a problem with it.
Okay. Mandrell? You're on mute.
Honestly, I ain't got a problem with what he said either. If his daughter's grown and she is bringing drama to his life, okay. On the one hand, I'm with you as well. Where was he her whole life? My assumption is that he's been on tour, doing shows, stuff like that, because he's a stand-up comedian. But at the same time, if she's bringing drama like that, he has to accept the fact that his absence is a contributor to that. Clearly her mother is a heavy influence on her, and he got to hold that L when it comes to that for his lack of attendance. Kids need a lot of attention. They need a lot of tending to, because you leave them to figure out on their own. You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to get anyway, even if you teach them. So it's a bag of cats when you ain't there. So, but at the same time, hopefully he taught us some things along the way. But but he has a right to be happy too. He has a right to live a drama-free life. Anybody bringing drama in your life, they got to go. That's why my circle of friends is so small now. I mean, I just refuse to be in some bullshit. Nope, not having it. You're bringing drama or negativity in my life. Bye. I don't need you. So I ain't got a problem with what he said. So it's just a shame that it's his daughter he has to be that way with. It is a shame, but
why is it a shame if you don't have a problem with it?
Because I don't like to see families break up or parent relationships with their kids be like that. You know what I'm saying?
So you have a problem with it?
No, it's just a shame. It's like, I wish it was better, but hey, man, I gotta say, I ain't got a problem with what you're doing. It's just one of those things that I wish it could be better. That's all it is.
You, Kenneth?
Corey Holcomb, legendary comedian, horrible father, and a hypocrite, a man that lacks accountability. He's alienated his son as well. He's never good terms with his child's mother, her mother. He's told stories about that. If she was to die, he wouldn't even, if she was on fire, he wouldn't even piss on her. You can listen to his rhetoric over time. Put his comedic value aside. I'm a Corey Holcomb fan. He had a guy named Zoe Williams on the show just to show his character and his accountability. He ran him off the show because he challenged him on how he was treating other people. You always got a story about how someone else is doing something wrong, but one, you weren't there as a father the majority of the time, sending money, because I think he paid to have her go through medical school. I don't know if she got her PhD or anything, but he paid for her college. He used to brag about her. But now that she's a woman and we don't know her side, we're back to that. His story, her story, the truth. You're going to go on a public forum and tear down your daughter like you did Zoe Williams, like you did your son when he was over there and you said he was nasty, putting your public business all out there for the preview of those people on your show. And everybody has accountability but you. Oh, we talking. His other guy, Marcus. Oh, he's back on the show. We talking. He lacked accountability. And I think a man that can I'm not putting my kids, if I would ever have kids, out on Front Street for public consumption. I'm going to handle that in-house.
Right.
I'm going to be calling my child heifers and bees and all kind of stuff like that. But I'm not telling you how bad I've been as a person. Most comedians are people that are really messed up, and they toe that line of insanity. The great ones, Andy Kaufman, Kinnison, those are people that I've met, and it was quirky. Because I was big in comedy, I liked watching comedy, and most of those people, they toe that line. But as for how you express your sentiments about your kids, you got to really pay at that person. You feel real comfortable about putting your seed, things that came from you. That's a reflection of you. So what did you do in their upbringing to have them treating you like this? That's a fair question, being 50-50. But you're a grown man. You're allowed to say what you wish. First Amendment grants you that right. But that's indicative of how you are as a person, that this could that it could flow so freely out your mouth about your own kin, your children.
He paid for medical school.
I don't know if she finished her PhD. I know he played a part in paying for some of her college because she was an honor student. And he was bragging about it for years. I'll send you the clips if you want.
Brag too. She should shut the hell up and be thankful.
Yes, but listen, I for what I agree with, I don't think you should be putting your family stuff out on the front street like that. But we don't know the whole full story, his backstory or not. We don't know how bad the mother was. I know I have family and relatives where the woman practiced father alienation, and the son can't stand his father today because his mother hated him. And just taking up the kid a couple of days a week ain't going to change that. Not over a lifetime of indoctrination. So, but under any circumstances, I don't agree with him saying what he said about his daughter in public consumption. If you ain't going to take care of her, you want to alienate her now as a grown woman, that's between you and her. You know, and even if she says all kinds of dumb shit online, because they do that, I wouldn't be inclined to protect myself. I just let it go ahead and bounce off my back, and I still wouldn't say anything. I might say I have no comment, but if I had to, but I think he's wrong about just putting it on blast. I don't agree with that. Even if he's right morally, he can't be putting it on blast. Not like that.
What do you mean if he's right morally?
Because, man, listen, you know, I don't care what any women say. There's women who are goddamn demons when it comes to you and your children. And they could, if you only could see them a couple of days, they could make those kids hate you, man. You know, and it happens more often than not. You know, and I've heard stories and stories, and I know some anecdotally, you know, where a kid, you know, went to his father after he was almost 30 years old, and they finally had a conversation. He said, "Now I realize." I mean, so, you know, we, you know, the deadbeat dad scenario is one that's overplayed. What's underplayed is what women can do to men and their children when they have them all the time. And we don't talk about that enough. Some women are just horrible when it comes to alienating the father. And all he is a check. And the check is never enough. And they make sure the kid knows it. So I'll just land it there.
Okay. Jane?
Did she say anything about him on social media?
I think she did.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Yes, she did. She was adamant about making her points known.
Then who fired first?
He did.
Oh, you said this stuff first?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Man, honestly, she learned a valuable lesson of what guys with strong fathers like that, what we talk about. Like, I understood, even my mom told me, hey, if you go to jail or you doing something wrong or something happened to you, don't come back home to me.
Yeah, don't call me.
Exactly. They like, no, don't call me trying to bail me out of jail. So it's all about respect. So those type of parents demand respect, and they feel like you're not respecting them. It's a done deal. So I don't care if you're my little sweet baby or nothing like that. Especially the men, we all know this type of stuff. So I think what we did was we spoiled our girls too much, and then now the girls are spoiling, that's raising the boys, and now spoiling them too much. And now it's kind of like a reverse. Now we both fucked up. So and then too, we dealing with a celebrity kid. So y'all seen what happened with 50 Cent kid, how he was acting up and trying to seek out for attention and doing all this type of stuff. So those people, they want them because they celebrities or they making the money, but they don't want the lifestyle that comes with it. Them working all those long hours, they're making all them sacrifices and different things that they have to do. So if you want that your father to be somebody that's a great comedian, somebody that a lot of people look up to, or that's important, they're not going to have as much time with you, and it's going to be hard for you to have that inner connection. He working right still to the day on the show talking about it when he could have been, relaxing, talking to his daughter or something like that. So it's always trade-offs. So you just gotta figure out. Like, I've been in the military for a long period of time. I've been on deployments, a lot of stuff. Now my family, I was gone 6-7 months. You know what I'm saying? So they had to be without me for that period of time. But you have to make sure, try to find some leeway to shed some time. I think that's one thing he needs to do to try to make the situation right. And I agree with the fellas on the panel. Hey, you don't supposed to be putting this type of stuff out in the media and stuff like that. I understand, like, you're a comedian, you can make you a lot of money and stuff like that, but I don't think it's a good look, especially for your daughter's sake and your family's sake.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, that's rough, man, to do some stuff like that, man. I don't know if I could do that, but what I wouldn't do is she said something first, and I'm gonna have to defend my name. I tell you that. I'm not going to turn the other cheek now. That's not what I'm going to do. But she don't say nothing. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to keep it all the way in house. But if she goes out and put the business out there now, I got to let the truth be known.
All right. So a few of you said, like Mandrell, Trey, y'all said y'all didn't see anything wrong with what he did, right? Somebody's not good for your life, then they should be ostracized. Is pretty much what y'all saying, right? I don't want to get it wrong now, so correct me if I'm wrong.
You gotta value your mental health, Precious.
Mhm.
Yeah, because seriously, like, men deal with enough stress as is. If you're a productive man, at least, you know what I'm saying. Like, women don't understand that. Like, you really don't understand. Like, yeah, it's an everyday grind, every single day. And you think the last thing I need is someone I'm gonna have a constant contact with come in the house, nagging the shit out of me, bringing more stress I got to deal with out there and in here too. When does it stop? When
My
does it
thing is,
stop?
does parenting ever stop?
Does parenting ever stop?
Do you think that there's an age that parenting stops?
Yes.
What do you
Yes, parenting stops. Mentorship does not. There's a difference. Like, okay, my mother doesn't parent me, but she mentors me from time to time. She gives me some advice here and there. She answers my questions when I have them, but she's not, she ain't paying my bills. I ain't living in her house. You know what I'm saying? Like the parenting part, most of what goes on there, aside from teaching life lessons, it's out after a certain age. It should be. And as that kid's growing up, while they're in your house, you should be letting go, giving them more and more room on the leash as they go. You know what I'm saying? Your primary focus should be on a kid when they're first here. The younger they are, start the lessons and drill it into them. But they're teenagers. I mean, come on. What are you doing if you're still a baby, 18, 19, I'm supposed to be able to function outside the house, Okay. So yeah, there's an age where parenting stops, but mentorship doesn't.
Good evening, Latif. How are you?
Fine. How about yourself? What up,
Doing good. Okay, so mentorship. So parenting stops, mentorship starts, right? So according to Mandrell, right? So I don't know. I think it was a little disheartening to hear you guys say that you agreed with him, and I'm only saying that from a daughter's perspective, right? So when you're a parent, I don't think parenting, and when I say parenting, ing means you're still doing it, meaning, you know, you call it mentoring, but that parent is going to believe that they're parenting you because she brung you into this world. You know, you may see it as mentoring, but she's going to always see it as parenting, right? So, especially the mother. I would think a father would be like, "Oh no, I'm mentoring you at this point," but a mother is going to always feel like they're parenting you. But as far as daughters and fathers, so fathers are the first men that daughters encounter most of the time. I would imagine your father is the first man that you're encountering, and so, you know, with him being a comedian, he probably was away. He paid for her school. You know, kids spell love Time. And so he didn't give the time, right? He gave the money, he gave the amenities, whatever, probably what was needed. And so she was able to, you know, survive. The mother probably was able to pay for things and things of that nature. But there is no closeness. And I believe that fathers sometimes do not know how to have a parental intimacy with their daughter. And there's a disconnect because for fathers, it could be I could be telling you a million times not to do X, Y, and Z, but because you're not listening, I'm going to cut you off. And for him to say I could go make another daughter, he can. It's a fact. But how do you think that makes your daughter feel, no matter what age she is? She could be 5, she could be 10, she could be 21. But what do you think? Just sit and think about how a daughter will feel, because she may be 21, but the 5-year-old in her is hurting at 21. So for him to say these things about his daughter, it's like, how do you think the daughter feels about that? Because the public can feel however they want to, but do you not consider the daughter's feelings and her perspective in this?
I get it, but for me, I'll say I'm the wrong person to answer that question. I'm probably unqualified at this point because listen, my parents spared
I'll answer it. I got a daughter.
my parents spared no quarter in what they said to me, especially my mom. My mom said some crazy shit to me. You know what I'm saying? Like flat out, like, no, you don't say that to a kid, or you don't say that to an adult. What do you do? You know, if you heard what she said. So for me, I built a callus over stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I mean, how the daughter felt, she probably didn't like it, but I mean, did she bring it on herself? Is my question at this point.
But man,
if anytime a man is saying I can make another you, it's because he had to humble her. He had to humble her.
No, but do you think you humble your kids that way?
That's his choice. That was his way of doing it. I can't.
I'm asking you, Trey. Trey, I'm asking you.
If I felt as though that was what was needed to humble her, then I would tell her exactly, because it is the truth. So and I can have another daughter. But it depends on what she said. I don't know. We don't know what she said. But for his reaction to be, I can go make another daughter, that signifies to me she probably said something that was out of line.
Trey, I watched that show. He brought it up. No one asked him about it. He made it a point of reference to bring it up on his show.
What did he say she said?
And berated his daughter about her not following his rules and speaking to him a certain type of way. But I can't validate what he says because I've seen over time, because I've watched this show for years, how he never takes accountability and always likes to knock it up.
I just want to stay with the facts. If he said
I'm giving you facts.
I got that, but you don't know exactly what she said. I'm trying to find out, what did she say that would make a man say, I can go get another daughter, as in I can replace you?
Okay, it's different.
What would make him want to say that to his daughter?
That's big. What did she? No, because I'm asking. That's why I asked the question. Did she bring it on herself? Did she bring it on herself?
Watch this, man.
Say that.
He said, "A man. What would make a man? What would make a father?" That's different now. Yeah. What would make a father bring it up as a point of topic? Because I watched that show.
Okay.
So what did she say?
Hold
Yeah.
on. Trey, you want facts. What would make a father, not just a random man,
Bro.
bring it up as a point of reference on his shoulder to berate his daughter?
It was clearly on his mind.
Okay, got it. We got that. That's a fact.
Comedians use their stories as therapy. They've been doing it for years. It's nothing new.
Okay.
It was probably cathartic for him.
At the beginning of this, I've shown you reference, and you could fact check this, of how many people he's called out on the show and yet to take accountability for what he's done in certain situations.
You already
Zoe
said
Williams
that, bro.
and
What
other
did she
people.
say?
This is fact as for someone who is speaking and their character.
What did she say?
So
that's the point I'm trying to find out. What would make a father? I have a daughter. For me to want to tell my daughter I can get another you, she had to have said something crazy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Trey.
but you keep talking about like you saying it. You're not saying it on YouTube saying, baby girl, I can get another one. You're not telling your daughter that in the public eye like he's doing. He's saying it publicly. It's not like he said it privately. Precious, I can get
He's
another.
A public figure.
It doesn't matter. You don't mean you have to do it in public though, Trey.
But that's what they do. Otherwise, we wouldn't have nothing to talk about.
That's what everybody else does. Public figures do. You have to do that. That's not always the way. I don't say everything.
I just find it funny that when we talk about the situation and they tell people we tell them they should censor other things. That doesn't make any sense.
I think he's gay as hell, but I don't say that. Just because I think Mandrell's gay, I mean it's okay for me to say it.
Listen, Trey is right. What did she say? I mean, let's just say that. We can argue whether you should have said it publicly or not, but what the hell did she say?
Okay, Mr. Payne, did you? I'm not. I said I used the theory. His story, her story, truth. But what would take not a man, a father, to bring it up on his show as a point of reference when no one told him to bring it up? Because I watched the whole episode. It was riding on his mind, like Mandrell said, and I'm gonna use my form to tear down my child.
The Peef, you heard it?
Yeah. Let me clarify something here.
Wait a minute, man. Somebody who heard what she said say something.
Yeah, I am curious. Like I said, I'm curious as to what you said to make him say that.
Man, you have something wrong with your headphones?
What do you mean?
He's gonna tell us, bro.
No,
go ahead. I didn't hear that part.
No, I wasn't going to tell you what she said, but the question that I wanted to ask is, what would it take a daughter to say to you that would make you respond that way?
Well,
if my daughter tried to paint a picture that she wasn't taken care of, or that I didn't sacrifice for her, something along those lines, and that conversation got disrespectful. I was in the military. You're gone a lot. It's a sacrifice, but it's a sacrifice for the entire family. I understand that. And that can lead to some contentious conversations. So if that conversation between her and Corey was along the lines of, you weren't here for me, and his response is, that's because I was working to provide you a certain lifestyle, like you going to medical school, then I can understand him wanting to say, listen, I feel disrespected because I did something I thought I was doing right. Also, a man has to have some passion. If his passion is comedy, why are we penalizing him for that?
That wasn't comedy.
I think that a man should have compassion as well.
I'm not talking about the show. I'm talking about his career. If his career is comedy and that's his passion, we're gonna penalize him because he wasn't home with his kids?
No, he's fulfilling his needs, right? But when a child tells you that they have needs that are going unmet, is that I don't care, I was fulfilling my passions?
You gotta suck it up.
No,
if your parents are rich and famous and celebrity, you have to suck it up. You think if Malia and Sasha didn't want their daddy around more? Of course they did.
All right. Stop there. They probably did, right? But I'm pretty sure Barack had a good old conversation that may or may not have made them feel better. What I'm saying is, just because you are doing these things to fulfill these needs that you as the adult, the higher being, knows need to be done, knows needs to be accomplished in order for the child, the lesser being, to be provided for and things of that nature, if you know that you're away, you know that you're not present as well. You know there are two things that are true at one time. You're away and you're providing, but you're also not present and you're not providing present needs. So if a child comes to you and says, I needed this, I know that you were away. And okay, so someone said that she was disrespectful, right? Again, a child spells love Time. So maybe she could have frustrations. Maybe she don't know how to communicate those frustrations of the needs that went unmet as her father was away. But Corey seems like the personality type that's like, I've been away doing what I need to do, and if you can't understand that, then I can get another one of you. And that's not what a daughter wants to hear. It's not what a son wants to hear, honestly.
But
no
Precious,
child wants to hear that, no matter how old they are. And so I think that as adults and parents,
you keep saying child, she's grown. She's an adult.
She is grown, but a lot of people hurt from their 5-year-old self, not their 25-year-old self, Trey.
But there's no evidence that he wasn't there when she was 5. I mean, we keep skipping the fact that half of his conversation talked about how bad her mother was. That's
right. That's his problem. That's a lot of his problem. That's a lot of men's problem. They leave the parent. They don't leave the child. But you have to understand that you're leaving the child.
No, but
you're leaving the child. But yet you don't want to be responsible for that hole that you're leaving.
So
I got away from your mama because she was drama, and you turned out the same way.
No, Precious, are you trying to say that there's no such thing as parental alienation? Are you trying to tell us that there's no such
like,
thing?
I don't.
We don't know. We don't know if that's the case.
Yeah, like I don't think that she said that. I think she's just saying that regardless of whose fault it was, when it comes to the parents, the child is still suffering.
I agree.
But let's be real. Okay, my daughter.
And I don't believe he should put it on blast. That's one thing. I want to be clear on that.
My daughter's mom and I co-parent. Let me be honest with you. The moment we broke up, trauma. It was inevitable. It was going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it. You either stay together, you work it out, you figure it out, you keep both parents in the home, or you split. And the moment you decide to split, the child is in some ish immediately. So the fact that this, like I think we have this sort of like utopian thought process where everything's going to be great, everything's going to be perfect. No, there's emotions and trauma and drama, and people get hurt. It is what it is. Corey, you can clearly see Corey hurt. He may not have wanted it to go that way, or whatever she said to him, or however she made him feel. He's hurt too, and I'm sure she's hurt by him not being there. And I agree with you. Kids do, their love is Time, right? I agree with you 100%. But she's probably hurt from him. She got a bunch of hurt people trying to get it figured out.
So then Corey was wrong then, right?
No, I don't think Corey was wrong.
Corey was wrong
because he's a public figure, and every comedian uses their platform. Kevin Hart talked about his drug addict daddy, and people laughed about it. It was a joke. Nobody said you shouldn't be talking about his drug daddy.
But here's the difference. Here's the difference.
Public figures talk about their problems. They always have.
For the comedic value. For the comedic value, he was a good guardian to his father until he passed. He took care of everyone around him like he was supposed to.
That has nothing to do with the price in China. He still used the platform.
Okay, allow me to get a point across. Corey Holcomb berated his daughter's mother in front of her as well, and all his comedy shows. That was a point of contention for him. He also had that with his son. Then he said he had an outside baby. He said he sends him money, but I don't claim that. But when stuff went wrong with his son, when he brought his son to California, whole thing with him and disrespect. Came on the show, talked dirty about him as well. I've watched these shows. It's there. You can fact check it. Then your daughter, you have a disagreement. I'm a father. I'm not putting that online. If I'm a man of means, I'm going to sit down. If we can't figure it out together, we're going to get someone clinical in there so that we can make peace. At what point? Corey's not stupid. It takes a brilliant man to do what he does. You can't go on the stage an hour and 2 hours and make people laugh, bring up all type of emotions out of them, and then not want to address the ones that mean the most to you. Money, okay, I paid for your school. What does money mean to a child when they grow into a person? They still want that time. And they still want, no matter how long they live, they still want to rekindle that if they have a love for you. When you tell me if your daughter was to ever pass a line and say something to you that you don't like, you're cut off all ties.
Absolutely.
I'm not believing that's you. And if it is, there's
absolutely.
work that
I don't tolerate disrespect. Absolutely.
Okay, watch that. There's still work that needs to be done with you because that's not a foreign person.
Well, you're not in a position to qualify to make that determination.
No, it's my opinion.
I got it, and that's all that can be is an opinion. But at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, if you're asking about my child and how I run my life,
it's one thing to cut your daughter off.
My daughter to disrespect.
It's another thing to make it public like that, though. That's what my issue is. I don't have a problem with him cutting off. I don't have no problem with him cutting off. And if that's what he need to do, that's what he need to do. That's cool. But when you take it to that point like that, talking about I can make another one. Yeah, now that probably going too far. I understand you upset. Take some time. Think before you know, what's it? Think before you sin. Ain't that what Herm Edwards always say? Think before you sin. That might not been a thing to do, man. I'm just saying.
I was gonna say it's trade-offs, man. Just remember, none of the parents gonna be perfect, so you gotta explain this to your kids at a young age. And this is what I told my son. I told my oldest, hey, if I ever catch you disrespecting me like this or doing anything that you know we didn't teach you what not to do and stuff like that, doing that, I'm cutting you off. So you gotta have talks with your kids at a young age, but you actually gotta kind of try to make sure you're there to have those deep conversations with them. And then that's when they get older, they remember those conversations you had with them, and they'll try to walk that straight and narrow pathway. So,
Dang, so you would? I mean, good evening. Good evening, Cameron. I'm sorry. So, Trey, you would cut your daughter off. Now, I can understand blatant disrespect, right? But would you try to understand her, or would you say, oh, you're disrespectful, I can't do this, I'm done, I'm good?
If we're talking about my daughter at 21, I'm done, I'm good. Even honestly, I got serious issues with my mother. Serious issues with my mother. Not from a hurt standpoint, like just in decisions that she's made as I was growing up. Some choices she made. There's still a line I won't go past. Even when I have conversations with her, there's still a line I won't go. I have to find a more creative way to say things to her so that it gets my point across without coming off as being incredibly disrespectful. Even though she can tell I'm pissed. So if my daughter decides that she's going to cross that line, not a problem. I'm done with you. Because you should still have enough respect for me to not cross that line. So that's why I'm saying,
what respect do you think that you have to have with your 21-year-old daughter?
Say that one more time.
I said, what kind of respect do you think you should have with your 21-year daughter?
I should have with my 21-year-old daughter?
Mm-hmm.
She should have enough respect for me to not want to personally attack me, or to not want to say things that she knows would intentionally cause some type of a reaction. Purposely poking. It's one thing to say something because that's how you feel, right? And you're just saying, listen, this is just how I feel about it. It's another thing when I know that I know what you're saying is intentional. You're trying to hurt me on purpose. I know you're doing it on purpose. That's a completely different conversation, because that's something that I could do to my mother. I could say some mean, nasty, hurtful things to her, and I don't do it.
So you're saying because you hold your tongue, or because you are selective with what you say to your mother, the son to the parent, you feel as though your daughter should hold that same respect for you.
Absolutely. And find a creative way or a better way to express it. I'm not saying that she can't express it. I will listen to my daughter as much as she wants to talk. But there will always be a boundary, a line that she cannot cross.
So I have a question for Precious. This person is being an adult. I'm trying to understand what's bad about cutting someone off, because I would be doing a disservice to another adult if I allow them to continue to disrespect me, even especially being my son or my daughter, where it's like we've had conversations, because this is, like I said, a boiling point. I think one of the commentators had said was that it reached a point, because I've watched the 5150 show for over 10 years. And so I've kind of heard the stories. And of course, we're adults and we're human, so we understand how things work, where, like I said, trauma happens. You're over there, or I'm over here, and we have relationships, because he also has a son. So at a certain point, it gets to a point where we don't have to have any interactions. You're 18. Once you're there, you're an adult. The interactions that we're having is because we want to have a relationship, but once it gets to a point of disrespect, and I would be doing you a disservice for allowing you to continue to disrespect me. So why is cutting somebody off necessarily thing? Why is that bad?
I believe that parental relationships are different. Maybe I feel different because of the parental relationships I have had. And there have been a few of them. So my thing is, if you're going to be a parent, be a parent. Where do you get cutting off your children? Why, as a parent, now I can understand having boundaries. I can understand having your rules underneath your roof. I can understand all of that, right? But as a parent, when you say in your head that you're going to cut your child off, right? You could sleep good at night knowing that you're not talking to them no more. You don't, especially a father to a daughter, because a father to a son, I don't think it's right either. But a son is going to navigate, and men are more linear than women are. So y'all going to keep going. Y'all might dismiss it. You might not even think twice about the cutoff relationship. But that's not how it's going to go with a girl. Even if she's 20, 25, an adult, right? So to hear men say, oh, I have no problem cutting her. Now, mind you, don't get it twisted, because I understand the roles of a mother and a father. A mother is going to coddle and care and nurture, and a father is going to correct and instruct and lead and coach, right? I understand that. But to straight cut off, where did that become a parental thing that you agreed that you were going to do?
It's an individual thing, Precious. It's an individual. I got two daughters. There's no circumstance in my head that I would ever think I would cut them off. None. I could.
Okay.
So when you say cut off, a lot of times people are like, he was passionate. When you're passionate, that means you still feel something towards somebody. When somebody says, I cut you off, that means that I have now removed myself from a situation where things can start being said that we can't come back from. So when I say I cut somebody off, I didn't talk to my sister for 3 years behind disrespect. Once she came to me and came correct and apologized, there was that. It wasn't a cut off in the sense of I'm never talking to you again. We're humans. We're fallible. I think really what it was, because he has a son and he's a very open figure. So the relationship he has with his son, it's like, guess what? You live with your mom, you have cousins and other people who've influenced your thinking, and some of that thinking doesn't jive with mine. So once you cool out, you can be cool. So when he said that about his daughter, they have a whole history and lineage of different things happening. And of course, I was affected by her upraising and her rearing, and he didn't have as much part in that. But I don't think his cutoff was, nah, I ain't never talking to you again, because to be honest, if I kept on talking to my son or my daughter and they kept on disrespecting me and I still kept on dealing with them, I would create a false narrative that people close to them will still have to deal with them, even in spite of their disrespect.
I just kind of want to add on to this. I don't really think anybody is complaining about the cutoff. I just think all the extra rhetoric that he used with it about making somebody else.
He's Corey though, so so that's kind of how he's always talked.
But even though it doesn't make it right just because we excuse it on the outside.
No, I'm not excusing it, but I'm saying like that's consistent with his pattern of behavior. So like I wouldn't take that. My dad, he's very straight with his talk. So if my dad says something versus somebody else, well, my dad's always talked that way, so I'm going to take it at a certain weight compared to that. So they've had a relationship for all their lives. So that's why I do it, not excusing it. It's a matter of like I can weigh something different.
I'm not saying that we excusing it, but I think we don't know how his daughter took that. And then it might have been some embarrassment that might have came with it. And I said this when we did the IG live, is that you don't really know if that helped it. I always approach things like, is it going to help the situation or make it worse? Right.
Yeah, that's a very mature way of, of course. Yeah.
So he could have had this conversation with her on the sideline, like King said. It didn't have to be anything that's public, but it seemed like he was intentional in doing what he's doing. And it's like he's coming from a place of hurt. We don't really know what children are thinking. We don't really know what really happened with the situation. But as a man, now if it's an action, like if she killed her brother or something like that, then I would just say that that's some extreme, but that I'll probably say some crazy stuff. But we're talking about words, right? And so I'm not gonna hide my emotion to be able to utter those words about my daughter publicly. If I feel a certain type of way, obviously that there's an issue, because like women don't usually get emotional just for no reason. There is usually an underlying issue that hasn't been addressed yet, and he may be part of the problem. His mother may be the problem, but I'm going to approach it like I'm going to try to figure out what's going on, because the amount of disrespect, people don't just disrespect people just for the hell of it, especially like a father. It had to be a build up. This didn't just happen overnight. This didn't happen as an adult. It's probably been going on. She probably never respected him, and it's probably has something. You got to get to the bottom of it, But it's never going to be a point, because I have a daughter, and I would never publicly say I'm gonna come on. Now I might not tolerate some bullshit. I might be like, you know what? You on one, so I'm gonna let you be on one. You live there, I live here. Maybe we'll talk after a few months or whoever the case may be. But for him to go to that extreme, he's not helping the situation. In my opinion, he's not helping it at all.
I think he did talk to her. I think he did talk with her offline, and I think the conversation probably didn't bear fruit. So he probably was still pissed. And then he came and was like, all right, well, I'm gonna show you this publicly. I'm gonna show you this publicly.
Why is the assumption that he's trying to fix it?
Huh?
Why is the assumption that he's trying to fix it?
Well, I don't know if he's trying to fix it. I'm just saying I wouldn't respond.
Right, so that would make his
emotionally like that.
Wrong,
I just never would, because it's not gonna fix. It's not gonna fix anything. I mean, him.
Right, but if his intention isn't to fix it, then his comment isn't wrong.
Well, does it help it or does it hurt it? Does it help the situation or does it hurt?
But that's my point. Everybody that spills their guts, they're not looking to fix the problem.
It's catharsis. Yeah, sometimes it's just like it just feels good.
Most comedians, that's what they do.
You know what's really being omitted here? You came up and you said you watched him for 10 years and you wouldn't address his hypocrisy. He spoke about his son badly on his show, unprompted, as he just did his daughter. You didn't speak about the character of the person who is speaking these things. I've listened to him since he used to be on Jamie Foxx show, Speedy's Corner, until he broke off and did his own thing. So I've listened to him as long as you. And you're not taking the comedy aside. And I was waiting for the part where you was like, you know what, Corey does not take accountability. And I've yet to hear that from you.
I'm talking directly about the situation that was at hand. When people are
that is part of the situation. That is part of the character of the person within the situation.
Okay, so in addressing that, which I did, was that when people were in the midst of trauma, both sides were there and people were hurt. We're not talking about we're doing this in the most perfect way, which like I see Lapeef did as far as how he talked about, hey, that's not helping the situation. I think a lot of us are mature here, so we probably would have handled it in a little bit more succinct of a way. And we're not comedians, but there was hurt here. He does and has taken accountability in a lot of capacities, but no, in this particular, I'm seeing you making a face, I'm still talking. But in the midst of the situation here, I know he's hurt, and I know if he looks back at this in the next month or so, he's going to be like, probably shouldn't have handled it that way. So I'm talking about directly with the situation is that there was another side that we were trying to bring the facet to, which was if a person does that, it's because a person felt that way. as far as accountability, I think we all know that we could take accountability regarding situations and do them better. I'm just saying we were just explaining the situation more to give more color to the situation. Because it wasn't just a dad just talking to his daughter. It's like, no, the daughter's grown. It's not just like a child. It's a grown woman who has to have and enact respect. I enact respect with my son. My son's 7 years old. So especially if you're 21 years old, you have to come with a certain level of whatever in order for me to interact with you, especially seeing that you're past 18. I don't even got to talk to you. I could just send a check. We ain't got to do nothing.
Wait, but
So respect's a thing.
Cameron, you said he's taking accountability. Did he take accountability for Zoe? No, he didn't. He put on a show.
For Zoe, we're not talking about Zoe right now.
No, we're speaking to the person who is
Somebody
putting
please
this
say
out
that Corey
and their
is
character.
irresponsible and
Okay,
anybody can say
again, someone's character. That is part of this story. He's
Nobody's
a habitual.
saying Corey is an upstanding guy. Nobody's.
And no, I'm just talking about the
saying
situation,
he's
sir.
well,
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's a top dude. I'm just saying as far as the situation, because I've had this situation personally, and it's like I think I'm one of the flyest dudes that's out there, and I think I have a great moral character. But there have been times that I've even found myself in situations when emotions are concerned are there. So I'm only talking directly to the scenario.
Okay, you mentioned he took accountability. If you take accountability, there's a certain.
I'm not saying in that situation. The situation's still in the middle of it.
Allow me to finish my sentences. So you said he's taking accountability for certain things, but that comes with growth. And if you repeat such factors, that make you a habitual offender. And you have to take to the character of the person. He's done it with his son. You watch the show. Let's see. Has he not done that with his son before? Before he even started speaking about his daughter on the show unprompted?
Yes, but we were talking about the daughter. I was saying the situation was different.
Okay,
that
so that
he coming out with,
it's not different. That's a man showing his character, how he speaks about his estranged children. He started with his son. Now his daughter, not saying she's right. There's her side, his side, and the truth. Now she impromptu, he starts talking reckless about her on his show rather than fix the issue. That's accountability.
Gotcha. You're good. Just to your perspective, I had nothing to say to that. I was talking specifically about facets that weren't brought up with the conversation.
But the man doesn't even want to try to attempt to fix the situation. I don't have no problem with him cutting him off. I have no problem with that. So if he said financially, I'm cutting you off, you're no longer going to be supported by me. I understand. If I don't want to talk to him no more, you said I'm cutting you off because I don't feel like talking to you right now. Now, eventually, I'm not going to close the door, but that's exactly what he did. He kicked the door closed when you make statements and say stuff like that. And it sounds like this ain't the only child he did it to. Sound like y'all talk he done to his son.
He did it to his son before.
So maybe he got ain't shit kids. Maybe he got ain't shit kids. Maybe his two children are and he got to get.
You got ancient kids, you ain't shit too. You produce that motherfucker.
Exactly.
But that's obvious that Corey ain't shit. That's obvious. Nobody's putting him up for Father of the Year. Nobody's putting him up for Father of the Year. I'm trying to find out why is the standard so high for a man that we all can agree that is not being at his best. If he's not at his best, why are we expecting for him to be this great man? It doesn't make any sense. A man who ain't shit, an ancient father, would say something along the lines of, I can replace you.
But you agreed with that.
You championed it. You championed his decision to do what he did.
That's what I said. I never used the word agree. Never used the word agree. No, I said I don't have a problem with what he said.
That means you're in agreement.
That's what I said. That doesn't mean I agree. That means it doesn't affect me. It doesn't bother me. It's his life. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
Really?
The only thing he did wrong was put her on blast. Everything else
you would do the same thing, Trey. You said you would do the same
given
thing.
the circumstances, yes.
So you
if my daughter disrespects me, she's done. I don't play that.
Do you agree?
Okay, she's done for how long? I don't understand these words. She's
done for how long? It's not a prison sentence. She's done.
So what is it? What is it? Is she not your daughter anymore? What the hell?
She's always going to be my daughter. She has my blood. There's nothing I can do about that.
So what does I'm done mean?
It means I'm done talking to your ass.
So do you agree? So you agree?
I don't agree. It just doesn't bother me. I'm not in that situation.
You say you're willing to do it too, so that means you agree.
If
brother.
I were in that circumstance.
Okay.
But
If
I'm
you-
not in that circumstance.
If you would do
So
it too, that means you
if
agree.
worms had guns, birds wouldn't fuck with them. We can what if all day.
Man, come
We
on,
can what
man.
if all day.
All you
guys
proved
wanna-
is that
guys
you
wanna
can rap.
hypothetical to death, then let's
Come on,
hypothetical
man.
that. But at the end
Trey,
of the day, he made a decision. That's a grown
Oh,
man with
man.
his kids. That's
I
a
forgive you,
decision
brother.
he made.
What are you talking about?
Trey, find
Who's got
somebody
the
where you at.
soundboard?
Trey,
You
find
guys
somebody
have
where
this
you at
thought
and let them
process
give you a
that
long
people
hug.
are supposed to live their life the way you want them to live it. He gonna live his life. Corey gonna do what Corey want to do, and if he want to get rid of his daughter, that's on him, and that's between him and his daughter.
He shouldn't have had kids. Don't have kids if you feel like there are situations that you are not going to be able to handle. Now, life is going to hand you what life hands you, right? But to say as a father, I'm done with my child.
It's not a child. You keep saying that. It's not a child.
Not a child.
I'm done with my adult child. I mean, at the end of the day, the hierarchy is parent and child. Yes, they are adults, but at the end of the day, are you going to go in their house and disrespect your mom and be like, "Hey, bitch, she's not your friend, she's your mom," but aren't you going to respect her as your mother?
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
I disagree.
So why would I expect the same from my child?
Right.
You're talking children. If I have to respect my mother and that was the way I was raised, why wouldn't I expect the same respect from my child?
Right. You're going to expect that, right? But from a parental view, you are still sitting at a seat higher than your child, even though they are an adult. So you're saying that since you're an adult, you don't look at yourself as a child of your parents.
No, I'm 39. Look at my mother. My mother can't parent me. What does she know about being?
There's nothing your mom can say to you. There's nothing your mom can say to you to influence you because that's your mom.
My mother stopped parenting me at 15. I've been on my own.
My question is there anything that your mother could say to you that could influence you because she's your mother and not some random woman on the street?
You gotta be more specific. Influence me? I'm sure. Maybe she could, I don't know, tell me it's gonna rain outside. Here's an umbrella. I don't know.
No, could she say, "Hey Trey, hey baby, I love you, and there are some things that you are doing that I feel as though is leading you down the wrong path. And as your mother, I want to come to you because I do love you and talk to you about these things that I have noticed in your life." Could she do that?
Yes, she can say that, but it's still on me to determine whether or not to listen and implement.
Right. I mean, because at that point you're an adult.
Right, but that's not parenting.
It doesn't
that's her
stop
giving her
your
opinion.
mother from doing what she does as a mother. No matter how old you get, your mom is not going to stop giving you the love and care and nurture that you deserve as her child because she brought you into this world. You hear how mothers always say, and this is the divide between men and women, because in a mother's eyes, you'll always be her child. But in a father's eyes, once you get a certain age, to hell with you. You could do what you want, you could say what you want, and if you disrespect me, I'm disowning you. And I think that is a problem with some men. I think that you do have to have a little bit more patience. You do have to have a little bit more compassion when it comes to your daughter. You should have it for all of your children. But when it comes to your daughter, to say, "Oh, well, she's an adult, to hell with her, I'm cutting her off." You don't understand what that does to a daughter because you're a man with a penis. And so your feelings and her feelings and emotions are two totally different things. And God forbid you ain't emotionally open to her mother. God forbid that her mother don't feel emotionally safe with the father. And now the father is making these decisions with the mother, and the mother don't even agree with it because it's like, hell, you're not even emotionally open with me. So I don't even know what to tell you on how to deal with our daughter because you don't do that with me. I'm just saying that before fathers close the door on their daughters and want to say, "Oh, I'm done," and this and that, think again. Because these women that y'all talk about out here, these young women have a lot of fathers who done cut them out, have a lot of fathers who done gave up on them.
She was probably disrespectful.
I think I can bring some clarity to help like balance the kind of honest from both sides. So I know a lot of people we was raised reading the Bible, stuff like that, right? So this story is kind of what Trey and what y'all trying to meet, the point y'all trying to meet is a story kind of with the prodigal son. You know what I'm saying? So when the son left, you know what I'm saying, he just like how the daughter going out doing her own thing, she thinks, oh, she can disrespect, but the thing that can come back, he came back and was like, I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? And then that's when the father accepted him. So she has to understand, like, hey, I had to do what I had to do. Dad, I understand you had to do what you had to do. And he has to understand of, hey, I know I wasn't there as much. And then now they can kind of bring that divide. But if both have stubborn hearts, or they're not going to meet that situation, it's not going to be a good situation. And then he's going to be saying, hey, I can make another you because technically you can, but it's not helping the situation. But that's kind of like a story. So they both kind of just need to sit it down and just, you know what I mean, talk it out. Because honestly, she wouldn't want no dad that was a hood dude that's in the streets or is in jail his whole life, or a broke dude or something like that. She liked the position and all the opportunities that he came with, but she has to understand, like, hey, for me to be this way, I had to do certain things. So that's the only thing they're missing.
So James,
the only thing he did wrong was put it on blast. That's it. The rest of it is a private
the only
matter.
thing he did wrong.
Yes, the only thing he did wrong. Because everything else. Wait a minute, man. Before you go, I'm gonna end it here. The only thing everything else you're saying is your own speculation.
No,
you don't know all the stuff. Yeah, you might have saw his 10-year history.
No, you gotta
know exactly when it went down.
It's not my speculation if he says he's done it. It's not my speculation if the man says he's done it and he
And the only thing
stands
he
on.
did wrong was put it on blast.
Wait. It's not my speculation, Mr. Payne, if the man says he's done it and stands on that hill with shitty boots.
The only thing he did was put it on blast.
No, okay, Mr. Payne, may I elaborate before you say I speculate? He is one of my favorite comedians. I've watched the show.
Instead of word speculate, okay, take that back. But the only thing he did was put it on blast. Period.
Okay, Mr. Payne, Mr. Payne, I'm in agreement with you. Trey, you can't be a thug all your life. Get a hug. Come on, cut it out. So listen, Mr. Payne.
Trey need another massage.
Yes, sir. I hear you, man. I hear you. But
you want your backside,
Mr. Payne, you are correct. But if you did something out of emotion, you're human, right, Mr. Payne?
That's right.
But if you keep repeating that, when are you looking in the mirror and taking accountability for the stuff that you've done? Like I was telling Cameron, I'm pointing out certain things to show you the behavior of the person saying these things and how they've been a habitual offender over time. So Cameron, you've watched as long as I have. Do you truly feel in your heart of hearts, being a fan that you and I are, that he truly takes accountability if he keeps repeating the same thing over and over again?
No, I wasn't talking about. I agree with you in terms of like there could be more accountability taken. I think, like I said, none of us would have done what he did up there. So I agree with you that accountability is. But I'm saying like, yeah, he would have done a little bit better. Like I don't think that he comes out. I think your passion would come out. So that's why I say I agree with you that more accountability can be taken. But I'm not going to say he just doesn't take accountability, because it's like I've literally seen him say things on a show about, dang, I kind of effed up here. And a month from now, he's going to be like, yo, probably shouldn't have done that.
Wait. He's done that and then repeated such habits. Remember, he had the whole issue about his son. Now he repeated the habit. Now he's talking about his daughter. So is he truly contrite with what he said the first time?
Yeah, but my point when I had originally made this whole statement was talking about the other aspects of it, because it seemed like we were kept on talking about it from child to this person. Actually, I like how he talked about the prodigal son situation, was because literally that person removed themselves And because they removed themselves from the situation, when they came back, the dad always had open arms, but you're not going to disrespect me or disrespect my household or my rules. So he decided to take it outside. When he came back, he was received with open arms, as we all should do. And so that was the only point I was trying to make about the whole scenario and situation, was that I can see someone, quote unquote, cutting somebody off for being disrespectful. As far as Corey taking accountability to do better with his actions, that's a whole nother thing. I'm saying specifically that if someone disrespects me, and I've done this and I've been through this, if someone disrespects me perpetually, I don't care where you are on my family roster, respect is a thing that happens between two individuals. That's the common ground upon which we can communicate. Because if you can't respect me, why am I talking to you? That's the only point I was trying to get to.
And by the way, the prodigal son would have never been received with open arms if he didn't apologize.
Yeah.
So if anybody, yeah, I know you said it, James, but I'm reiterating the point that in order for somebody to get back into somebody's good graces, what's the first thing you have to address that you disrespected them, and then hope that they'll take you back? Something happened between the two of them to the point where he felt so disrespected that he needed to say, I don't even need you. I can make another one of you. What would make a father say? I'm sitting here as a father of a 5-year-old girl thinking, what would make me say something like that to her? She would have to have crossed that line. I mean, it's got to be bad.
Yeah, but sometimes it don't have to be bad. What has to be bad is the way that you deal with certain situations. And if he's been an absentee parent because he's been on the road, maybe he just don't know how to deal with situations like that. Maybe he doesn't know how to really deal with his daughter on a father-daughter level. He's so used to providing. He's providing one thing in her life, but he's not providing other things in her life that she needs from a father. And so, yes, apologies for disrespect. I do agree with that, because yes, you are supposed to respect your parents. It does, say treat your parents right, for your days will be long. But at the other hand, it also says that, your parents shouldn't provoke your children. And so why would you go online to provoke your child who's being disrespectful to you? Somebody has to, you would think that the parent would have more common sense, or just general knowledge of saying, I'm not going to make this situation worse. If I can't make it better, I'm damn sure not going to make it worse. So take your break if you need to. Take the silence and try to figure it out if you need to, but don't put more fuel on the fire by saying, well, I can go make another daughter and she just like her mama. You slept with her mama, so you done produced another woman that you found attractive and that you slept with, so you can't really say that. Like Kenneth is saying, where is the accountability? And all I'm saying is that before y'all want to disown your daughters, see where you can do better as a father, because you are the parent. I don't care if they're an adult or not. You are the parent. Now, what Cameron was saying with family members, now other family members, as far as siblings and things like that, look, I believe there needs to be a respect too, but there's definitely a different supreme respect, I believe, that you should have for your parents, but your parents should also respect you as well.
And that'd be my last point I would just make there. And so I like what you said there as far as about sometimes it's just about how you handle it. And Kenneth knows this, he mentions a lot about the disdain that he has for the mom and the mom side of the family. And he sees that on the daughter. And for him, it might be, like I said, I don't even know how to interact with that. So it may not have been a huge offense. Like I said, we don't know exactly the whole conversation. I just wanted to address the respect part, because some of us have had parents where I didn't look up to my mom. I didn't. Like, I respected her for what she provided, but I didn't look up to her. My respect for her grew as I saw her grow as an individual. So I respected her as a human and I respected her as a person, but I didn't respect her or my dad like that. And it wasn't like I was disrespectful. It was a matter of like, you didn't put in the framework for me to have that level of reverence towards you. So when I respect people, I respect all people at a particular level based upon as far as the seniority that you have in my life. Of course, you feed me, you pay for bills and that kind of stuff. So I have to give credence to that. But I think people should come with the universal level of respect. And I make sure of that with my son. Like, hey, guess what? I take care of you and I do these things for you. And this is my position and my role and I got to do my job. So you will respect me because of that. And if I didn't provide that to you and you called me Corey, can I be mad at you? No. If you call me by my first name, I couldn't. So I think people just need to learn that universal respect just as adults. And in his own weird way, like I said, he could have done it better. He's like, no, you can't be disrespecting me like that. So I appreciate all the perspectives, though. This was good.
The wild thing is, he's been berating her mother for as long as we know.
Yeah.
At what point, as an adult and a father, do you think that has an impact on her?
No, that definitely is a thing. 100%.
You and I know you said some horrendous stuff about his child's mother.
Yeah, no, 100%.
He said it on the show?
Yeah, no. So that's when Precious said that, it was like, if we want to get to accountability, like now we're talking about that.
Isn't he supposed to be entertaining?
He goes.
I mean, yes, it is. Don't get me wrong.
And we know that if you watch the show as much as we did, it's times, it's jaw-dropping moments where he's not being funny. He's just being dirty.
I said entertaining. I didn't say funny.
Oh yeah. No, so no, but I will say, like, getting to the accountability part, there have been times you could tell, like, this man got real issues behind his daughter. And this thing, I had that with my dad. Like, my dad had that towards my mom, and at one point I had to say, like, listen, you might think she's the devil reincarnate, but that's my mom. So we're not going to be able to have a relationship with each other if you keep on talking crazy to her, talking about her crazy like that in front of me, because that's not my experience. And so respect me enough to have respect for her, so that don't say it in your out loud voice when I'm around. You could feel that way. But like I said, no, when it comes to accountability, Cordy definitely needs to do that. So when Precious had said that, it's like, no, you have some real issues with her and with how you felt she did you. And there needs to be some type of forgiveness or understanding around that, so that you can actually interact with your daughter, because your daughter might be the spitting image of that and some of the things that triggered you. So if we talk about accountability, I could 100% get with you there.
Man, honestly, this guy, he on his show, this is what he does. And I'm not saying that is right, but he also say he ain't shit. He say I'm not a good person. He say all this type of stuff. So we're not going to get like a moral standard from this guy. So I know guys on the panel, you know, I mean, a lot of us are upstanding and we do what we got to do. You know what I'm saying? But a guy like him, he's not gonna. He's like a Pookie. You can talk to a Pookie all damn day. They still gonna be doing Pookie shit.
You know, Trey.
James, that makes sense.
Yeah.
When it comes to your children,
everybody doesn't have the same relationship with their kids. Everybody doesn't have that.
You would champion his behavior at the beginning of it.
On a man and say, well, you should be like this and you should be like. Everybody is not like that. Some people have great relationships with their parents, and some people have disgustingly terrible, nasty relationships with their parents. And this idea that we're just going to make, your parents should just fix that. What? No.
So Trey,
is what it is.
real quick. Trey, real quick. If you and your daughter wasn't getting along and y'all was getting into it, before you cut her off, as you say, that line that can't be crossed, would you be with your megaphone out in the streets bellowing to all, my daughter's a piece of ooh, ooh, and ooh, ooh? Would you be doing that?
No, because I wouldn't get paid for it. However, if I was a public figure and I was traveling,
if you got paid for it, you would.
And I was, well, if that's what I did for a living, then I would talk about it. That's what he's doing. He's talking. I'm confused. I have watched Richard Pryor tell a whole story about freebasing.
But it's different.
That's what they do. They talk about.
This is not live on LA Strip when you smoking and then light your Jerry curls on fire. We're talking about a guy who went impromptu and started tearing down his child. It was no story going into a story, just like he did with his son. Cameron knows that because we watched the show. There's no speculation, Mr. Payne. Take another sip of that moonshine and let's go through this coloring book together. No. Corey is engaging. Just like Trey said, he gives that entertainment. He keeps you hooked. You want to see where else he's gonna go, how far he's gonna push that thermometer. And then certain times he just leaves you like stuck, like your jaws drop. I can't believe he just said that.
So he's good at what he does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Evidently,
he's good at being a comedian and not a father?
and a horrible father.
Probably.
Yeah.
Most basketball players are better basketball players than they are fathers. Michael Jordan talked about that.
What I'm
most
saying
people who have those
is,
jobs they're better
fathers,
at what they do.
before you cut off your children, learn
But that's not
that
the
it might
case here,
just be a
Precious. Everybody's been saying that there's been boiling. So this isn't something that just happened overnight. That this has been boiling for a while. And I'm in that boat. Listen, I'm not gonna keep doing this with you. At the end of the day, I'm your father. And if you choose, respect is the minimum. Lauryn Hill said that years ago. If you choose not to respect me as a minimum, we got nothing to talk about. I'm good. I'm gone.
I'm in 100%. I agree with that.
Precious is that I don't have this sort of emotional nurturing. She didn't suck on my titty. We're not the same.
I understand this.
We're not the same.
I understand this, and I hear a lot of men say this. I understand that there is definitely a different perspective on the treatment of daughters, and we're talking about daughters right now because again, sons I think get treated a little bit differently because some men could be men's men or men's men, and they can kind of get along with the sons a little bit better and have that type of relationship most of the time. But when it comes to daughters, there's this disconnect, right? Because men when you look for a wife, you don't want a wife that's going to disrespect you, right? But your child is different from your wife. So the way that you would cut off a woman who disrespects you is like, oh, I'm gonna just cut her off. And it's like, but that's your daughter. Like that's your child. So why is there no resolution there? Like, why are there no chances of, what, you're my child, and I understand that I may have been absent and I may have done this. Like a lot of times, children respect their parents when their parents can be people and not and more than just parents, right? So like you guys were saying, your parents feed you, they clothe you. I think Cameron was saying they clothe you, they feed you, and they house you and things like that. But a lot of times you respect somebody from their struggle, you respect somebody from hearing their story. And as a father, in your head, it's like, I'm sacrificing, I'm providing, I'm going out to work, I'm doing all these things. And that's a fact that you are doing those things. But the things that you're not doing aren't as loud because of the weight that you think that what you are doing holds. And a kid don't know where their clothes are coming from. They don't know where their food is coming from. It just comes. But love is something that a kid knows is there or not. Period. Kids will gravitate towards love. You know how parents be like, well, you talk to your friends more than you talk to me. Well, I got more love for my friends than I got for you, and things of that nature, right? Because they can see the realness of their friends, and there's no judgment, and there's acceptance and open arms. But when it comes to your parents, it's like, okay, I want you to be this child. I want you to get these grades. I want you to be in these sports. And children really don't have the autonomy nor the voice in some situations where they are being this picture perfect child, right? They don't have the instruments or the tools or the voice to say, hey, but I wish you would spend more time with me. Hey, I wish you would check up on me. Hey, I wish you would, take a walk with me, a run with me, walk the dog with me, whatever the case may be, because they're expecting you to already know that and be that as the parent. So a lot of times kids don't have the vocabulary, don't know how to express their feelings. And so when that doesn't happen, all they are left with is that void. And so that void turns into frustration, which turns into disrespect, right? Not saying that it is right, but there are a lot of misplaced feelings that the child feels, and the parent don't know how to then place the what the child needs there, because they think that they're handling every single thing that the child needs. But when you hear from the child's view or from their perspective, it's like, well, I needed this from you.
Got it. But Precious, we got to acknowledge something that no one's acknowledging here. Really, that kid's clearly been poisoned against him. Like,
Thank
there's
you.
a lot in what he said that says that. And then I'm hearing now Keith and Kenneth and see my man here, like he talks about his her mother like a dog in public. I'm like, okay, clearly there's a bad relationship there. And he says that he sees a lot of her mother in her. There's been some influence against him there. I would wager to say. So I think that plays a part in this, and in her and the way she looks at him. And understand, we don't know what kind of wedge that woman is putting between the two of them. That's something that we don't know. You know what I mean?
It's more of a
clearly
parenting
shows
problem than a kid being disrespectful problem. You have two parents who can't get along, and so now you can't really reach the need of your child because
100%.
you still mad at a woman you ain't even having sex with no more. You still mad at a woman that you're on the road and she's taking care of the child. Now I understand.
Why is he mad? Why is he mad? She made he made hold on. Summer breaks. He might have wanted to take the kid on the road with him when she's out of school for summer or something like that. And then the mother says no for no good reason. There might have been plenty of times he was in town, wanted to pick up his kid. She says no, but send the money so I can take care of the kid. So I mean, because that happens when the mother keeps the child away from the father, but the father still has to send money to make sure the kid has clothes and food and things like that. So my thing is, this is clearly not all his fault. Like, this is the culmination of a lot that's been going on there, and it ain't just him and the daughter. Now, I do understand where you're coming from, but you don't understand where a father would say that to his daughter. I never saw that growing up myself. My dad wasn't like that with my sister. She was always a daddy's girl, the whole 9 yards. Everything you're talking about, that was my sister and my dad. Me? Hey, you going to school? Yes, sir. And it was yes, sir, until the day he died. Like, I had that kind of reverence and respect for my father, right? I didn't say, hey, man, until I was like, what, 28? You know, and that's when I discovered that wouldn't bother him. You know what I'm saying? Like, up until then, it was always yes, sir, and no, sir. But the thing is, like, there's clearly this big wedge in between the two. And we're seeing more than just the breakdown of a father-daughter relationship. This is a lot going on here, that little bit of clip you showed. You know what I'm saying? Now that we see the guys who listen to his show regularly, that's more evidence here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it ain't just the daughter's fault that she's the way she is with his father. It ain't just his fault that his daughter's the way she is with him. You know what I mean? I'm curious because like I said, that's what I said earlier. I don't see a problem with what he said, but I don't like it. I don't like that this happened. You know what I'm saying?
Then you have somebody like Gary Owens who is like trying to be in his daughter's life. And I think he has the same situation where he has a parent that's in the child's ear too. And I always say that it's a horrible thing when a parent tries to keep another parent from their child. If you're not abusing the child in, you know, any type of way, there should be no reason why you keep a child from their father or from their mother. I just don't understand that whatsoever. And so that will definitely do a disjustice on the child, especially, you know, if you pair that with nothing good to say about that parent either.
And if the only thing a father here, hold on, and again, I'm not a father. I don't have any children. However, I can imagine, because let's hear him think about it. Like, if the only time I talked to my kid or spoke about my kid with either the parent or the kid, like I said, say the scenario is the same way. He can't see the kid much, but it's always he's always sought after for money. But now the kid grows up. She's attending university, needs a car, whatever case. She needs things, you know what I'm saying? So she comes to him for money. Their relationship is financial. When do they have time to bond or develop a relationship for real? So there's a lot missing here that caused him to have that reaction.
Yeah, and I mean, this could just be one of those situations too, where, you know, we talk about the order of things, and, you know, marriage is the container for sex. So when you do that outside of marriage, it's chaos, right? So this is just one of those situations that when you go out of order, there is going to be chaos. And it's unfortunate for everyone involved, but the parents knew what they were doing. And so now the child is here and they have to, be the recipients of the stupidity that the parents are going through because they can't act like adults with one another. You have a comedian who is very successful in what he does, and you would think that, your success and the people that you meet and things like that would have an effect on you. But honestly, it almost makes him more of a monster, really. And what he does and how he gets a lot of his messaging or jokes or whatever the hell you want to call it across. I always say, with this whole social media thing, another reason why I'm taking a break, because it's like, I don't ever want there to be a time where I compromise who I am for people I don't know. I don't care how much you're paying me. I don't care what you're giving to me. I don't care what you're providing for me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to compromise who I am and my family for people that I don't know. And when I think that it gets to your head, and when you do start compromising it, you don't care who gets hurt. You don't care who in a crossfire, family or not.
I was going to add one thing to kind of trying to so we as men, we have a different spirit on us, so it's going to be hard for you, Precious, to kind of understand why a man would disown a disrespectful child. Because if you think about it, shoot, God, the Most High, he disowned Adam and Eve from the garden. He took that spirit away from him. So we even know he killed all those people. That's disown right there. So we have a different mentality. How we see the world, it's going to be hard for a nurturer person to see it like we do. So because we understand, like, all right, if I continue to let this person disrespect me and stay in my household, it's not gonna do better. He's gonna be a deadbeat. He's gonna be a bad person in society. But for the woman, y'all are that balance to, okay, no, it's okay, baby. Because I know some people get disowned by the dad and the mom be sending the money. You know what I'm saying? So she know he still got some love, but dad ain't talking to me right now. But it's a good balance because he's still getting what he needs, but then once he realize he did wrong, he's apologized, then we'll be good.
See, I don't think that is a good balance, right? Because men are solution oriented, right? So, and I know what you're saying that I won't understand because I have that nurturing spirit in which I do, but I also feel as though that again, the man is solution oriented. And if your only solution is to cut your child off, I think that you're not using your whole mind and whole heart and full capacity of how you can stretch as a person. Because God didn't give you kids for you to stay the same. God does not give you children for you to stay the same. Your children are going to test who you are and what you're made of and the character and the fabric of who you are. They're going to stretch you. They are. And if you feel as though they're not, you're living in delusion land.
No, it's Christ. It's different things that build up to it. Like this one day first conversation about her being disrespectful, for him to come out that way. It was probably years of something like that, or even months, of something like that. So just like when I'm raising my son now, when he be acting up, my oldest, right? He be acting up and doing stuff. I'm teaching him like, all right, now you continue this. When you get this certain age, you should be already have this fixed. You shouldn't be doing this anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I'm prepping them as I go. It's not like okay, boom, it's, and now I got this on you because you did this. It's steps to it. And then once those steps are, once you get a certain age as like an adult, now it's certain things that you can't come out, because one mistake, you in jail. You're done. You let somebody, you get into the wrong car, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they got drugs in the car, a gun in the car. All y'all taking that L, and they might blame you because you should have the cleanest record. You know what I mean? So you have to make sure these kids are placed in the best position to be successful, and always having you, especially if you raising a male child, having you all the time can baby them sometimes, and they don't become the man that you will respect as a woman and want to marry him. So we have to.
Do you mind if I ask a question or change the scenario for Precious? So if you were in a situation like this, let's just say you and your baby's dad or ex-husband, you have a son. The son is now with the dad most of the time, so you only get to see him sometimes. So the relationship and the link is not as strong, or bond isn't as strong because, you know, the whole T.I. and me thing that you said. So let's say he gets to a point where he's 18, so he no longer has to have any real interaction with you. He's on his own. He still gets some child support for you because he's with the dad. If he came and he interacted with you over time with a certain level of, like, maybe not certain understanding of what you do and how you play a role, how would you handle that? I know you're not with a megaphone, but how would you handle that disconnect from your child?
My child will have to get to know me. Your child has to get to know. If there's a
But how? Like practically, like 20. He's 21. You guys have been dealing with this. You're frustrated, but how would you actually?
I would take the initiative. I would have to take the initiative because I'm the parent, and as a parent, you have to take the initiative. And I know that you would want your child to do that because they are older, right? They're adults now, right? But if there's a disconnect, how?
Yeah.
Let's go to a baseball game. Let's go to a football game. Let's go somewhere where we can connect. There has to be some type of connection. It's not just conversation. There has to be some type of connect. You have to get on the level of your child, what they like to do, where they want to go, things like that. And you have to find a way to connect. As a parent, just like, okay, so we don't have the communication tools and relationships because we're not taught those things with our parents, right? You want to say, oh, I'm done, I'm out of here, or up, I cut you off, or we're not talking, up, you disrespect me, up, that's it. And we're not finding the ways to actually connect in the midst of chaos, or connect in the midst of confusion, or not being on the same page. So as the parent, you connect and you find ways to connect, and it might be hard. Again, it might stretch you as a person because it's like, why should I have to do this? Why should I have to, you grown, you live in your own life. Why should I have to do this? But there are things that are given to you.
So just being available, you would say, so for instance, if I keep on brushing you off, like keep on sending that check, and I keep on brushing you off, you would just be more persistent in trying to reach your hand? Okay.
There's never going to be a time where my child is just going to be cut off and I am done finding ways to connect with my child. Never, ever, ever in life. Ever. 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 I'm a parent. And yes, God does allow you to find your way, but he gives you instruction. And it is on you to either follow the instruction, to take heed to his word. But at the end of the day, God is still not going to leave you as a father. He might leave you to your own vices. He might leave you to the things that you feel like are better for you, but he's still there. You still can go to him. You still can confide in him, and he's going to correct you. He's going to do that correcting with you. So my thing is,
even if he was on drugs,
huh?
You still be, I say, even if he was on drugs, you still be bringing plates down to Kensington?
If he was on drugs, I've had that happen in my family. Actually, I had a sister that was on drugs and she stayed with me. And so when she brought drugs into my house, then I had to love her from afar.
Okay.
I had to love her from afar. But it doesn't mean I stopped loving her. It doesn't mean that I stopped praying for her. It doesn't mean that I totally, am just done with her. But I do understand what you talk about with the respect thing. But we're talking from a parent to a child.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying from if I was a child, I was your child, but I still was going through some stuff. There still has to be boundaries. That was the only thing I was just trying to understand what you would do, and if there would be a boundary, or what that would be. Would you be just more incessant in terms of your creativity?
I would still make, because life is short, right? And we want to say that we're not going to do X, Y, and Z, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to have some type of communication with you. I'm still going to do that. You're my child. I'm still going to do that. Maybe there are people who don't know what it feels like to be motherless or fatherless, or do y'all? Does anybody know what that feels like?
Mm-mm. See, in the South, it's different, Precious. Like, James, you might be able to back me up on this. You're less than you grew up less than 100 miles from me. So it's like, say the older the person gets into it with their child, right? And their child's grown. The child's a grown adult. Say they have falling out, right? And then they go their separate ways. The older person ain't making the first move. You got to go to them and say, hey, right. The older person ain't making the first. The parent is not making the first. Yeah, the parent is not making the first move to reconcile the relationship. They are not. The same thing with my mother today. If she and I were to ever have a falling out, I would have to make those and call it, Ma, what are you doing? Nothing. What you doing? Well, this and the other, blah, blah, blah. I want to see you. Okay, come on over. Now the door ain't closed, but I'm going to have to, even if she's wrong, she could know she's wrong, but she's old school like that. She's very old school. So, so I would have to make that first move, even if I'm in the right and she's in the wrong. But the thing is, like, it happened in other families that I've witnessed too. I'm like, oh, this is a Southern thing. I've seen that so much. I'm like, yeah, this is something that happens in the South then, I guess. I mean, this is just how it is. But,
would you feel comfortable telling your mother you believe she's in the wrong?
Yeah, I tell her she's wrong. She's wrong now. I do tell her she's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Ma, you're wrong for that. I ain't wrong. How am I wrong? Well, this and the other, blah, 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 blah. Really? You think I'm... She'll admit to it, though. She said, really? That was wrong? That was bad? Yes, ma'am. It was bad. Okay. But in this case with Corey, he might adopt that same ideology. I don't know. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like the daughter's going to have to make the first step to reconciliation. So he might be saying that in public, which is tacky, to say the least. But if that daughter wants a relationship with him, she has to approach him with something other than just money, because he's been giving money to that child his whole life. And again, it's like I said, once the kid gets out the house, wants to go to attend university, there's tuition, the kid still needs clothes, stuff like that. He went around to teach her these things, because he and the mother weren't together. She might need a car. So like I said, a lot of this has been transactional for him and her, is what I'm deducing. And they never had time to bond and to form a real father-daughter relationship. So in a lot of ways, they're still strangers to one another. So you as a mother, you have your daughter and you bonded with her, you love her. You've seen things growing up as far as family goes, you know what I'm saying, that weren't the greatest. So you're a person who can appreciate the relationship between a parent and the child. He may not have that same sentiment because he didn't have those same experiences.
That's why it's important for him and his daughter to get to know one another.
It is very important.
It doesn't have to be, and there has to be other ways that he provides for her other than monetary. See, some men only know how to be robots of what men should be. And it's like there's so many different facets of a father that you can be, that sometimes you get caught up in what society tells you that you have to be. You have to be the provider, in a monetary way. You got to be outside the house and have all your hours go to work and blah, blah, blah. And all that is fine. But if you're not finding a way to connect to your children, don't get mad when they're disconnected from you.
Who raised him? Did he have his mom and dad type deal?
His mother and the Robert Taylor homes in Chicago, which is the projects which he always talked about. But the chronological events that led up to him getting to California, you knock up her mother, you're doing the scenes, you're running the streets, you're being a grifter. You were introduced to comedy by Godfrey. He was the first person to put him on stage. During that period of time, I can't tell you what happened in between there, but the relationship between his oldest daughter and her mother that got scared by the time he left and drove on a suspended license all the way to California. That's part of his stick.
So he didn't have any money at that time.
He was grifting.
Yeah, that relationship, if he had no money to send back to her to help take care of that kid, plus the woman spitting venom. So now she got receipts. They ain't send nothing. Blah, 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 blah. So the thing is, the woman is just upset with him, but she's not thinking about how that affects the child, how that's going to affect her outlook on him. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of damage is done there.
Then he also mentioned during that period of time he was working for like a fast food place. Probably he believes he gave the manager who he had sex with a kid. He's on the fence with that one. Then he talks about the other one where he has the son who's a doctor. And the reason he got the son out there because the son was challenging her new husband. There's a lot of trauma all over his story with him and his children.
Men like to talk about them single moms, but they sure enough, they,
Yeah, because
gotta take accountability at some point because
here's the thing is the way it sounds for a long time, Corey was just surviving.
He was a pookie.
He was just surviving, and that's about it.
So why do we have such high expectations for pookie?
I'm just
okay.
Well, this is not about Corey, Trey. This none of these shows that I do are about the people that we're actually talking about. It's about the scenario and the cases that happen in real life that these people actually go through. It's not that I have a high regard for him.
Pookies in real life, why are we having such high expectations?
Because we do want people to be a little bit better. We do want people to learn and say, you know what, because of that, let me take a little a second thought about what I have going on, because this is actually going on in my real life. And
I've seen people at the absolute worst, Precious, every day for years. If people want to change, they have to want it themselves first. You can want it for them all you want. And I was that cop that was sitting there trying to tell them, listen, bro, you can do better than this. This is beneath you. You're smarter than that. They don't want it for themselves, and there's nothing you can do for them. It's obvious that Corey is very comfortable being the type of man that he is. What the expectation should be that he's going to restore his family, restore the relationship with his daughter. He's obviously not going to do it.
Well, I mean,
Some
you
men
never
are
know
like
what
that.
happened. But you're right. People do have to want it for themselves. They say when you know better, you do better. And, sometimes that's not always the truth either, because you can know better and just not do better. But we have these conversations so someone can get a different perspective. They can see different perspective, even you guys, and how you talk about your real lives. You bring your real lives into this and, talk about that as well. So it's not always about the people that are actually in these videos for them to necessarily be better. We just see how they are and how this also can be something that somebody is going through in real life. Because like I said, I'm a woman. I date men, and there are men who are disconnected from their daughters, and their first action of resolve is I'm done with her. I'm done with her. I don't know how to deal with her. She getting on my nerves. She too much. And all I'm saying as a woman from the daughter's perspective is just be a little bit more patient. Have a little bit more compassion as her father. Don't just dump her to the wayside. Because guess what? It's going to be a man out here who's going to treat her a lot worse than you. It's going to be a man out here who's going to knock her up because she don't know nothing because her dad didn't want to take the time to be a dad. It's going to be men out here that take advantage of her. So before you give up on your daughter, before you just say, I'm done with her, see if there are other ways that you can be stretched as a human being, as a man, as a productive citizen in this world, and as a father in your daughter's life, no matter how old she gets. Because you'll allow yourself to be stretched for your job. You allow yourself to, you'll work yourself to the bone.
Again, he grew up in the projects with a single mother, wasn't really connected to any of his kids from the way it sounds. So, and again, you yourself, you have a perspective of both. You know what it is. You understand. So because of your life experiences, you understand the value of a parent and child relationship. Because of my experiences, I understand the value of that as well. And we can appreciate it. He, on the other hand, he might have an issue with that because of his life experiences. And for
Again,
this
is not necessarily for Corey, but these are areas that Corey needs to be stretched. Okay. These are just these things just show you the areas in life that people need to be stretched. They need to be challenged. They need to take a second look at. That's all. That's it, and that's all.
Gotcha.
You know, nobody has all of the answers. But like you said, because I do know both perspectives, yes, I did want to speak about it on the men's panel because I have seen it time and time and time again. And there have been, situations where I have seen fathers actually turn. And now they're in their daughters' lives and they're participating and they're communicating and they're doing and they're not just giving up, is what I'm saying.
So, I agree with what you said. I agree with what you're saying. Okay. And it's not about Corey, it's about the general topic. What we don't know is how far, if his rubber band popped with this woman, with his daughter. We don't know these things. And I don't give a shit what kind of programming he's done for 10, 15 years. We don't know if his daughter didn't stretch him to the end, if we was just talking about him. So and that maybe made him behave. That's why I say the only thing I saw him do that was wrong was put it on blast. Because we don't know what she did to him. We don't know. And as long as we don't know that, we can't make judgments about him on how she hurt this dude. Right? So, and that's it. And the only thing he did wrong, regardless of how bad she hurt him, is put it on blast. But in general, about a man going extra for his children, daughters especially, I agree with you. Right? And then, but that breaking point is going to be different for every individual man. It just is going to be, right? When I had my daughters and I know I wasn't going to have any son, I bought books on how to talk to them, communicate with them, and all that kind of stuff. But I took that upon myself. Nobody told me to do that. So
But that's just one step that you took that a lot of people don't take. You would think that you would want to know what you created. You would think you would want to know how to interact and find different ways to do that and not lean on your own understanding.
So that's why I agree with you.
Nobody knows how to be a parent and things of that nature, right? So that's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is take it a little bit further than what you already know, because obviously you don't know everything. And not just you, Arpane, but just in general.
So that's why Corey is somehow a cautionary tale, but might not be a good example for this particular discussion, because he's at the extreme. If you ask me, he's at the extreme. And then life somehow is somewhere in the middle, right? Or something like that. Not only did I, read books about my daughters, and I knew I couldn't spank them. I knew that because I didn't want them to take my love as a man for them and think that some man later on it's okay for him to hit them and call it love, right? Even though it's a different kind of love. I didn't want them to get that from me, so I didn't hit them, right? So all I'm just trying to say, these things, I don't know where it came from. I've been around a lot of women. That's why I grew up in a house with a lot of women. But I couldn't. The reason why I don't know why I have this insight, because I couldn't wait to get the hell out of that house. I swear to God. But anyway, even though they were all loving, but it was just women there. I needed to have some men interaction, but that's another story. So I hear what you're saying. So I don't disagree with any of the stuff on the panel. There's a breaking point for men, no matter how much we hate it. But I don't know where that breaking point is, because I can't see myself ever being that alienated from my daughters. But for some other men, they might be able to see it. So that's why I say the only thing he could do that he did wrong was put on blast. I'll land it there.
All right. Anybody else with anything on this topic? Nope. All right. So we're going to go into the final thoughts and then we are out of here. Hopefully we're done by 1. We'll start with Trey and then we'll work our way around. We'll end with Arpane.
It's fun, but I don't tolerate disrespect. And if my child decided to cross that line, and listen, you've done something. For me to want to turn my back on my own child, you've gone very far across that line. Then you get what's coming to you at that point. I'm a loving.
Look at it. The devil done got him off because he know he was lying. So I'm just
No, I'm a loving father. I don't necessarily have a, you know, super great relationship with my daughter's mom, but we don't have a bad relationship either. It's just business as usual, and that's all it needs to be for us to work. But I just wouldn't, and that's not just my daughter. I've had conversations with my mother, and I've had to stop my mother mid sentence and say, "Be careful what you say," because I'll walk away from you too. You know, be careful with the words that come out of your mouth, because I'll walk away from you too. It doesn't matter who you are, because I don't go around just randomly just I don't do that. Right now, I may say some things that are harsh, but I don't go around it with the intentions of disrespecting people to the point where, you know, you were destroyed inside. I don't do that to people. I may say things that are harsh though, on purpose, but I wouldn't do that. And so for me, respect is a minimum. I am open to any conversation with my child and future children that come along at any time, but just keep it respectful, because that's what I gave my mother and my grandmother and my uncle. Thanks though. Thanks for having me.
thanks, Trey. Mindro.
Yeah, like I said, it's wild for him to put out on blast like that. I personally, I can't imagine myself airing out my family's dirty laundry like that in front of people. It's just something I don't come from. We don't do. That's a one-on-one conversation in private. You know, everybody's seen my sister, you know, online. That's us for real. She comes in town. She don't even stay at mama's house. She comes and stays with me. You know, but so no, I can't imagine doing that. However, like I said, there's a lot going on there in that scenario with that situation. I don't think they have a real relationship like that. You know, from what I've gathered and deduced. But Precious, I do understand what you're saying though. I do get it. You know, for you, it's no matter what, you don't do that to your child. No matter what, you don't do that to your child. However, if she was never really a child, that's something different. You know, and that's probably the way he sees it. So that's my thing. But people, take better care of your family. Don't be too big to apologize. Even if you're not the one wrong, pick up the phone and call them, because I hate to see stuff like that. I hate to see families break up. I don't like to see it. You know, I can't say that there's no reason why you wouldn't. I mean, I'm sure there are some reasons, but yeah, like Trey said, there has to be a line. You got to have a code of some sort. There's some lines you don't cross with certain people. Family has to be one of them. So that's my thing. You ain't got a line, get one. That stuff is goofy to me. All right. I mean, I guess that's it for tonight for final thoughts. I think we said everything that needs to be said on the panel, really. I mean, there's not much I can follow up with.
And I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. JR, how about you? Final thoughts? I think you're on mute.
Yeah, I am. It was my bad. Final thoughts. I think I'm obsessed with the possibility, right? One of the things that I always talk about is I am concerned about the unknown. The unknown, when I say unknown, meaning the possibility of I might have missed something. I always approach situations. Is there anything that I could do, could have did, didn't do, may have missed? And if the answer is yes to one of those, then I have to kind of factor that in to my decision. I don't have a real big circle, so the people that surround me, including family and my loved ones, I do give a certain level of concern and effort in seeing if I could dig a little deeper. It's not with strangers, but the people that surround me, I do have the level of concern. So, I mean, just if it's a reason, I believe in cause and effect. So if I could look at a situation and see that something that I may have caused, something I may have missed or added to it, then I have to look at the result of it and seeing if I could repair or either get to the root of the problem. But I don't just walk around doing it just only for the people that I'm concerned about. So if you answer yes to any of those, then I suggest you take a second look at it and think before you respond. You can't have no impulsive decisions. I'm not about to get that energy to be able to respond in the public about my daughter, my kids. I'm pretty much a private person. You don't see me out here just writing out my family. So whatever I'm gonna handle in private, and it is what it is.
All right. Thank you so much for joining this evening. Kenneth, final thoughts?
To whom much is given, much is required. And that's in all stages of your life as you grow as a person. I have the uncanny ability to peep certain things and dissect it as it is, also with myself, because I am guilty for my shortcomings. And I am accountable for them. I want wrongs to be called out as wrong. I want rights to be uplifted and us to try to deal with our traumas, because every person that I'm looking at has some trauma that they had to deal with or is still dealing with and trying to get through within this thing we call life. I'm not putting no band-aids on no behaviors, because once you bring lives into the world, yep, those are things that unconditionally love you until you fracture that love. And you have to be accountable for the outcomes that comes with that. And if one day I may have a child, because I don't, I know what is entailed. That's why I haven't. I have to be cleaved to something that I'm never going to leave. And when I see certain things like this and certain conversations come to pass, you as a man, you have to look in the mirror and say that, as well as people, I have to try my best. I may fall short at times, but I'm always hold my chin up and do what is right. I'm going to never say ever in ultimatums when it comes to matters of the heart, because tomorrow's not promised to anybody. As Marvin Gaye said, only love can conquer hate, and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Kenneth, for joining. James, final thoughts, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So all I gotta say is there's nothing new under the sun, right? So look at what the elders did, look at what the ancients did, the people that's doing they all went through similar situations that we going through right now. So don't be afraid to listen to the old to help you get through a situation, and you'll be all right. If you're a young man without the father present, seek a mentor, seek somebody, read some older books so you can get that wisdom, and you can make a better decision. So that's all I gotta say.
Thank you. And our pain.
I have no idea what we're gonna do when you're going for the month of February. So I'm gonna have no Monday Night Football, no pressures. I don't know what the hell's gonna go on right now, but I just want to say this. This was a good conversation, and one of the things I think we need to start recognizing that there's a hell of a lot of men who only had their mothers who raised them, but actually have turned out to be okay dudes. They might have missed some stuff early, that alienated from their fathers and stuff a little bit, but they all aren't lost. You know what I'm saying? And we never really talk about that, right? As much. It's not just the athletes when we see them, hi mom and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of guys out in the diaspora, because we know over the last 50 years what has happened. But I don't think we talk about it enough. I mean, my father was in the picture, but my mother died when I was young. I was raised in a whole house full of women. My grandmother was an old West Indian lady, and she just ruled the roost. My grandfather was around, but he was a man of few words. Very few words. And that was mostly telling his wife to sit down somewhere once in a while. But for the most part, I've been around women all my life. And so I had to make a change to get around guys. But I felt like with my upbringing, without my pops was always coming around once in a while. So he got remarried, then I was able to see him a little bit more. But I was like 15 at the time. So, I know we trash on guys when it's bad, saying he's probably from a single mother household. But there's a lot of guys from single mother households that turned out to be pretty decent people. And they just had to fill in that gap of what they lost growing up. And some of them understand they had to do that on their own. They don't necessarily blame it on the past. So I don't know where that came from a little bit, because they said Corey Holcomb might have been that way. Maybe he didn't learn some of the lessons he should have learned. But and I'm gonna land it here. Most of the things that we learn in life, somehow by God's grace, we learn them without anybody telling us, because we all don't have mentors.
Right.
And some of the places where I ended up, I don't know how I got there, other than the grace of God, because I made the decisions that I made that I haven't made any real bad ones that I couldn't come back from. Right. So, and there's more men, black men especially, that does happen to, that we don't really celebrate or talk about enough. So let me just land it there.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you for having this conversation with me. You guys didn't know where it was going to go or how we were going to end up, but I appreciate having this conversation. It was a little rough, it was a little tough, but we got through it. Like I said, I will be taking a break, so you guys, I will be back in the month of March. I need a social media break. And so, you guys, I appreciate this men's panel. We're going to come back in March with some new things. And I really appreciate you guys giving your time on Monday nights to have these conversations with me. These conversations are held for understanding. And I think that, the women can understand a little bit more on their end. And I think that the men can understand on their end too. We as women don't know everything, and men don't know everything either. So I appreciate you guys giving your time to lend to the perspectives and to help other people understand. And for the chat, you guys who have been here on Monday nights to support, or have shared, or have liked a live, a video, a short, whatever the case may be, I really do appreciate you. My final words for this evening is to challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. We all can challenge ourselves to be better. I think we do things out of habit because, generations before us didn't know how to do things, but we're in a new, or they did things a particular way or one way. And I think we're in a new time, in a new era. And I think that the younger generations actually show the older generations things that they could have done better. And that's why they always say, grandparents treat their treat their grandchildren good, because they're trying to make up for the sins that they created with their children. I don't know if you guys ever heard that saying, or whatever the case may be. They try to, make it all better with the grandchildren, because they know that there were some issues that they had with their children. And so before we get to grandparent age, all I'm saying is that there are some things that we can do different, and some ways that we can self-analyze. That's another reason why I'm taking this break, is just to do a little bit of self-reflection without social media being in my way of that. And I encourage any and everyone it's okay to take a break. It's okay to rest. It's okay to come back better, renewed. We have to renew our minds. And so I'll be doing that in the month of February, renewing my mind without social media. I don't think that you can renew your mind with social media. It's a loop. That's what social media is. It's a loop. You see the same thing on people's pages. You see the same posts. You see the same, things, maybe remixed, or whatever the case may be. But I'm going to be renewing my mind, and I do appreciate you guys so much for these Monday night panels with the men. So we'll be back in March. Get ready for the links for the shows, because y'all gonna be the same group. I hope I don't lose nobody, but if I do, hey, it is what it is. It's part of the game, right? It's part of the game. So it's all good. I ain't worried about it. But again, I do appreciate you guys. Sean, I see you in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Miss you on the panel. But again, I do appreciate you guys. You know what I say when I end my show: be real with yourself so you can be real with others. You guys have a great Tuesday.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.